interviewed for a Ubisoft position as well when they were working on the Division 2.
You want to know
For
something crazy?
Malmö, Sweden.
I got an interview at DICE once.
Oh, okay, cool.
They needed a physics engineer to look over their code. I'm like, wait, I have a degree in physics. I know coding. I'm a big gaming nerd, and I got an interview. Got turned away, but eh.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's
The games
cool.
industry is tumultuous right now, to say the least. Very tumultuous.
Yeah.
Very, very cutthroat.
Yeah, that was back when the YouTube days were very early on, and I didn't know if this would actually, you know, be enough income to survive off of. So yeah.
Is it?
It is for me right now. Thanks, Dark Ages.
That's funny.
I mean, the number, like, quadrupled, okay? I mean, it wasn't a big number, but yeah, no, new game hype is a weird thing for content creators.
I can imagine.
Oh, what's it? I remember my roommate, my brother-in-law, he knows that I do YouTube and stuff full time, and I remember when Dark Ages was well reviewed, he came up to me like when we were having dinner and said, like, how's your stream and stuff looking with all that stuff? And I remember I just pulled out my phone, I showed him the graph, it's like, see where it starts increasing? Yeah, no, about all right. But it's been good. I have no idea. I'm just trying. I'm just wondering. Does chat? Can you hear us? Cause like there's no activity for me, so I can't hear it. I think my bot's just dead. I might have to track chats manually. Huh. This is gonna suck.
No, I totally get the content creation grind. I'm working on a personal project right now, and I have to divide my time up between work, my personal stuff, and then if I want to like advertise, right, by making like a devlog or whatever, I have to decide if making the game is more important than writing a video or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of my current YouTube like videos are just kind of me in Unreal or whatever, just walking through what I've been working on. Really like low effort showcase type stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, content creation is my job, and I feel very much the same way of, like, I can always be spending my time doing something else that's, like, promoting myself or better. And then
No,
I just realized...
for you at least.
Sorry,
your content creation is great, man. Your videos are what are like is your whole personality. I loved your editing on the Kaiser campaign video, for example.
Ah, dude, yeah, no, I saving it for this, but like that Kaiser campaign video is what launched my channel, basically. Like, for all intents and purposes, I had a dead channel until I released that video.
It's a good video. I'm not gonna lie. I maybe watch it like
you're a bit
once
biased.
every other month. I don't know. I am extremely critical of my previous work.
I imagine. Well, I think that's always a good mindset to have, is be critical of stuff you've done, because then you know you're improving if you can spot where previously you were bad.
Fair enough, I guess. Kaiser campaign was just a kind of a creative outlet at first. I wasn't even sure that I was going to go into the games industry. It was just, I really enjoyed seeing people play things that I worked on for a long time. And I realized, oh, hey, you know, maybe I should make a career out of it.
Yeah, okay, so, like, did you, like, study video game stuff, or did you just, are you a self-taught learner?
Oh, I'm entirely self-taught.
Really? Okay, like,
yeah.
how did you get started in self-teaching yourself?
YouTube videos, man, like watching an Indian guy.
Unironically, yeah. Did you just look up a Unity tutorial?
Unity, and then I realized that Unity wasn't my cup of tea because it required more C++, than I was comfortable with. So then I went to Unreal, and Unreal, luckily, Blueprint is super accessible, even for people who don't code that much. So Unreal is my preferred engine right now. I really enjoyed working with it, Tech 8. It really is a cutting edge engine for like what it's made to do.
Oh, so okay, sorry, I just don't know crap about engines. What is id Tech meant to do?
id Tech is made to create fast-paced first-person shooter games. I mean, that's what it's like.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what it's
That
for
just
right
that
now.
it. Was that?
Well, it's kind of a ship of Theseus, where
Mm.
parts of Carmack's code, I guess, still live in there somewhere, but it's like so much of it has been swapped out and redone to suit the needs of the project. So like when Hugo says purpose made engine, I mean he means it. He has like we have engine programmers that only make stuff for id Software games. Like we don't run off of a fork of Unreal or anything like that. It's an entirely in-house engine. And Machine Games uses it, but like it's not something that's licensed out anymore, like how it was with what's the game Prey? You know that one that Civi covered, not the Arcane one.
The wasn't that like was that
That
the
was it.
game? Was that the
That
game
was
that
the
the
same id Tech.
Arcane one like basically bought the rights to name their game after? Like,
Perhaps. I don't know the whole legal ramifications around the brand, but I do know that that game was made in the Doom 3 engine.
ah, oh, yeah. Actually, that makes sense now. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Doom 3, uh,
Please don't. I'll go to
no,
sleep.
no. I was gonna say, at it I worked under Jerry, who is basically the architect of all of Doom 3's maps. And what's
Really?
great, yeah, no, what's great about uh, the older versions of id Tech is it is completely brush based. Nearly everything in those Doom 3 maps is a brush. And what that is just a shape. It's like you're modeling everything in Engine. There's no or very little outside modeling software like Maya or Blender or whatever. So it's like what you make, is what you get. And Jerry is like a that requires art skills on top of just core like flow and design that you would normally just need to make a block out.
Hmm. I don't quite know if I understand, but I
Let
don't
me
do any
clarify.
texture work,
So,
so
okay, so here, let me give
please
you an
let
example.
me know. Let's do it.
All of the clip in let's say the Atlan section, for example, all the invisible walls and whatnot
Mm-hmm.
is made with brushes.
Okay.
So you draw out a box or an octagon or whatever, a convex hull shape, and then you trim it and you cut it like taking a block of ice. You can create blocks of ice and shape
Mm-hmm.
them to suit like whatever you need. Jerry made a fucking cathedral out of brushes, man. It's like and when I say a cathedral, I mean like you couldn't tell the difference as if someone hopped into Blender and modeled it from scratch. He did all of that
Wait.
in id Tech 7 and 8 using simple shapes and cutting tools.
Okay, and like those shapes and tools would be used to shape everything you see in the game and collision you interact with.
Everything. Yeah. Everything. It's an art form really.
So is Jerry responsible for making I guess setting up the invisible texture of the invisible walls that we walk on in the barrier core?
Oh, that Beth. No, so I actually, that's funny. I did the clip for that section, at least at first. I
Oh.
know it got passed on to someone else down the line. I'm sure they made adjustments to the level clip, but like usually clipping is more of a triage thing, which Jerry and the higher up level designers help out with. But like they have more important things to tackle. These guys are like super important.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry, he's the mission design director at id. So when you're a director, you kind of have more high level stuff to focus on rather than like clip work, at least for the majority of the project. Towards the end, everybody pitches in,
Hmm.
but no, it was stuff like associates or mid levels and even seniors to that matter who did like clipping or whatever.
All right. Okay. I want to kind of circle back to modding because like we were just talking about how you got your start and you're self-taught. Like about how long was Kaiser campaign after you got started on messing around with game engine stuff?
Well, it depends on what version you
Uh,
want to call it
give
quits
me
at.
all of them. Okay, we're here for a while. I can lend an ear for a bit.
Well, the mod scope grew as modding potential grew. So as people
Hmm.
figured out how to do new stuff, so did the scope of the mod. Like for example, it started out just being able to add custom script, and then
Hmm.
that's all the mod was. And then you could add custom textures, and then you could add custom voice lines, and you know, on and on and on as modding advanced. So did the scope of the mod, until I edited pretty much everything that I reasonably could about the base game to make a custom experience. And it was also just an opportunity to have fun. Like, you know, I wasn't taking myself too
Yeah.
seriously, as you well know, you know very well.
Anyone who's played finals, who's made it to the final level of your mod, knows that you weren't taking it seriously.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
I took
seriously in an aspect, but
yeah.
like lighthearted as well. As like you were there to put in a lot of work, but you wanted to also make some jokes and play with the player a little bit.
Let me put it this way. I think an important part of my game design is knowing when to get stupid. There is an art to getting stupid. And if done in the right place, it can very much benefit a game.
Yeah.
For example, like a dragon. That's cool. But how about we fucking give it laser wings? You know, that kind of thing. No, that wasn't my idea, to be clear. That was the great guys in concept. But like, that's an example of getting stupid taken a bit more seriously.
I'll put up an example actually from your mod that comes to mind. I think in Necrovol, when you introduce like zombies with like the red circle around them, who are just unironically will like one or two shot you, like they're the most damaging, fastest enemy in the game, and it's a freaking zombie. It's like that amount of silliness after you've just sweated that hard in like the previous combat encounters is just like almost like a lighthearted break. It's like a mental reset almost.
What's even funnier though is I try to use those like crackhead zombies as like actual chess pieces. Like, they serve an actual purpose in the combat. It's not just, haha, look, this guy moves fast. You're in a room where you can one shot everything with the crushers. But the zombies are unmaintained. So you kind of like, even though you have this safety net of the crusher, you always have to watch your back, because a fucking level 1 zombie can teleport behind you at any second.
Yeah, I felt so scared to do it. I remember just having the chain shield out, just being like, if anyone gets by me, I'm instantly hitting right click.
They actually so I didn't just like give them like 900,000 damage. What I actually did was I gave them the Icon of Sin's like attack decal. So
Wait,
they were dealing. Yeah, well, they had a bunch of damage on top of that too, but like, I basically gave them yeah, like there's a thing called damage remaps. It's an tech specific thing where you can say, oh hey, you were applying this amount of damage, well, take reference this other file. And so I was having it reference the Icon of Sin.
so those red zombies were literally as strong as the Icon of Sin.
Technically speaking, yes. Stronger even.
I guess that's what you mean by the art of being stupid, because I hear something like that, I'm like, I'm 110% down for that to be a thing. Like, that just sounds awesome.
Speaking of getting stupid, did you know that in the base game files, there's a Marauder in Urdak that was labeled as Big Daddy? For sure, yeah.
Do you know which Marauder it was? I'm curious.
Yeah, it was the Marauder right before, like right after, I'm trying to think.
Blue Ring?
There's a cutscene where you watch a bounce pad align or something.
Yes. Yes. Is this? Yeah, because you have to align the rings, and when you walk out,
Yeah.
the rings like move to show you like, oh, that's your next objective. I think it's the one
Yes.
immediately after that.
I believe that is the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
That Marauder is like hated in the speedrun community, mainly just because
Makes you fight him.
yeah, you know that funny little glitch where if an enemy projectile crosses a Marauder, they'll try to block it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, see, if I was working on Eternal, I really would have. I don't. Truthfully, I don't. I guess it's because that's only something you realize when
Yeah.
when Marauders are used with a lot of other AI, and I guess it was kind of a soft rule that you wouldn't have a lot of projectile units in the first place with a Marauder.
Mm-hmm.
But still, that's such an example of like, why would it be designed that way? And it's not. It's an oversight. But it was it was eventually an intentional oversight, I guess.
Yeah, no. It was brought up on stream to Hugo when he was doing his playthrough, and he said it was a funny little thing and he liked it, I think. I'm not sure about that. Don't take that as word chat. But
I'm not sure that he might have liked it. I'm not gonna put words in his mouth, but I know for a fact that it's one of those things where, like, once it's there's only so much you can change about a game post launch before it like basically changes the combat flow. And you know, Doom players. I mean, McGordon said it best: if they don't like you, they'll rip your head off.
Yeah.
I think they're being very, or they still are, but they were at the time being very intentional with their changes. You can see that with the precision bolt change, and then the revert of that.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing where they tried changing something core a little bit too bit, and then it just the fan base just didn't like it enough.
Yeah,
I guess they
it's
just
like
they're trying to avoid situations like that, I think.
absolutely, or like knock-on effects. You never know how disabling a feature or changing something minor will have like a butterfly effect later on.
Oh yeah, I should also say, because Turner Roser in chat says, I hope you're at QuakeCon. I decided I'm going to QuakeCon this year, so I will be at QuakeCon.
I was planning on going to QuakeCon too. Yeah,
Ah, cool. Yeah, we need to get all the Doomers together.
just to see some friends. Yeah, have some fun.
Yeah, no, we got a bunch of the speedrun people who I'm organizing to go there too. We're all meeting up. It's gonna be a fun time.
Exciting. Did you want to play Dark Ages during the stream? I was confused with like what your general plans are. You just kind of
I have no idea. I kind of have Kaiser campaign going up here. I was just gonna, unironically, I don't know. Whenever I have something like this, I don't want to like just play stuff. I kind of just like having things on in the backgrounds and focus on the conversation.
Okay, so more of like a podcast.
I guess a little bit podcasty in a sense. Yeah. I don't know. It's just I really value conversations and like learning and all this stuff like this, so I kind of want to dedicate my full focus. That's sort of my logic.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just if you were playing the game, for example, I'd be able to point out like stuff here and there. I suppose. I don't know. Just thinking of stuff to say.
I suppose we could. You have the stream open on your side, right?
Yes, but also, you know, I can always mute the stream so that
yeah,
I'll do that.
If you just want to mute the stream and keep it up so that you know, you can visually see what's going on.
For sure.
Here, I'll just put on some background gameplay then, and maybe we can just talk about sections as they come up.
I can talk about Kaiser campaign though. I think while you're doing that, here's something funny. I was actually still working on Act 3 after I got hired. So I would
I was thinking timeline wise, it was very like Dark Ages was in development when you were putting it out, and then I heard you worked on Dark Ages, and I was like, okay, was that like a personal project as you were working there?
Well, Marty was kind enough to let me finish it.
Like spend work hours doing it?
No, not at work. No, obviously, no. This was an at-home thing. But I can't, you know, I can't totally promise that I didn't hop into the Eternal engine to see what sort of info I could find that would assist me with the mod work at home. And I didn't use id Studio for it at all. It was all still done with raw text. So I was using the actual engine at work and then going home and dicking around with Notepad.
Okay, so you, because of your position, were you able to, so you were able to access like some files that would be very hard, you know, from modding tools and whatnot? Is that basically what I'm hearing?
Yeah, well, basically I was using id Studio.
Oh.
But it like you know, the id Studio that was released now, I was using the internal build of like the actual id Studio that was used for Eternal.
Oh.
I would just boot up a branch of Eternal.
Okay, speaking of Kaiser campaign, I just literally put my video up in the background for visuals.
All right.
Yeah, but okay, like how much did that improve your workflow, you think, for understanding things really. And whatnot?
Not, to be honest, not that much. I kind of knew everything. Because I'd been working with the with the engine, kind of like on the other end. I had to reverse engineer everything over like a period of 3 years. Truthfully, like there wasn't much going in that I didn't already know. It was just learning how to like make levels and use all the visual interfaces. That was the real, like, I would say it was harder learning the engine than it was taking that information back and putting it in raw text, just because of the amount of time that I'd already spent in raw text.
Yeah, because modding for Doom Eternal basically boils down to modifying a bunch of text files, right? Or I've heard it described as a lot of that.
Until id Studio was a thing, yeah. It was just you would decode raw text files, and then like you would visually see the syntax for like how an encounter was scripted. And so every custom actor in Kaiser campaign, I stood where that thing is going to spawn. I grabbed the coordinates using a console command, kind of like how you do get view POS, set view POS when you do your little mantle glitch. that exact same like console command basically, and then I had to copy and paste the coordinates into Notepad and manually adjust them, each one by hand. So like we're talking hundreds and hundreds of
So,
actors.
okay, so that was for
Usually
making the custom AI, right?
that was for making anything, setting
Oh,
up an
anything.
encounter.
Oh.
Yeah, the custom AI were more like decal editing. But if you want to place like a pickup or something, or
Oh.
really anything, you needed the coordinates. So you had to physically fly there in the map.
Oh, and then look at console, see what the coordinates are, and be like, spawn here.
Exactly. And it didn't work for the orientation. So I had to manually adjust the orientation too. That was by far the stuff that took the most time. Is I don't know if you played any other custom Doom Eternal mods, but there was this guy called Delta. He's cool. He made a master campaign. You'll see in his maps that a lot of his AI spawn like 5 feet above the ground, and that's because that's the default camera height. So when you get the position, it spits out something that's a bit above the ground. And so in order to get my guys to spawn on the ground, just for that level of polish, I had to manually adjust every single one. It was a nightmare.
Okay, so like, how many revisions do you think it would like take to like fully make like a single encounter in like Kaiser campaign, for example? Like, how many times do you have to open game, get coordinates, adjust things?
Oh God, man! I would say for a whole map to make a map, an official hashtag Kaiser campaign version of a map would probably take me around a month.
Oof, of
It
like,
would probably take around like from start to finish. And I mean, obviously, it depends on the map, but like I would say around a month of work.
okay, like how many hours of work time do you think that translates?
So I made the through all the revisions of Kaiser campaign, I spent about 3 years on it.
Oh no, I meant like work hours in terms of like
Well, it's all
man hours worked to make like a level.
it's been, dude, it has been like 2 years since I've last worked on Notepad modding for Doom Eternal.
Mm.
So I don't exactly know, but I know that I spent like a shitload of time on it.
Oh, okay, so you just didn't keep track. It was more
Well, yeah, it was just me dicking around on my computer. It wasn't like I had Jira or time tracking software or anything like that. But hold on. You know what? Here's a good estimate. So I know I told you 3 years, but I've spent over, let's see here. I spent 3,888 hours in Doom Eternal, the actual engine of the game. And like Doom Eternal was almost always launched when I was working on the mod. So there's a rough estimate for you of how long it takes to make a Kaiser campaign, at least with raw text, that is.
well, okay, I guess I'm just curious. Like, so it seems like that Doom Eternal modding is like a big step up from, I guess, just sticking around with game engine stuff. Like, I was curious, what were your previous projects before Kaiser campaign?
So I had a Nexus mods page where I would make Skyrim mods.
I actually know a lot of people who got into modding / coding and whatnot just to make mods in Skyrim.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even before that, like I have been making stuff for video games that I've wanted to improve. Like I would always identify stuff that I thought was cool and wanted to fix. Earliest that I could ever remember was like hacking my DS, with Action Replay.
Oh shit! You just brought a memory back. I did the exact same thing.
Yeah, it goes back, man.
I used to hack Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I remember it vividly.
It was platinum for me, but yeah, same thing. But so exactly, it goes like way back. And then I made stuff for Minecraft, so a bit of Java, but that it was nothing I ever released publicly because it was like some shitter 12-year-olds like Minecraft mod, Like getting the Aether working and that kind of stuff was huge for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Oh, also, I hope you don't mind, but if I see a good question from chat, cool if I just interrupt and ask it. I know we'll be all over the place, but
Absolutely.
figure it'd be cool. Have Voltage Hunter who wants to know what's your favorite encounter for Kaiser campaign.
Kaiser campaign? I thought I saw a question about Dark Ages.
Oh, they said and Dark Ages, so it's both of them. So
Oh,
we're starting with
okay.
Kaiser Camp. You could, I mean, you could take it in any
No,
order
for
you
no, no, for
want.
sure. Yeah, no, no. Okay, I thought I only read Dark Ages. I'm glad he's asking about Kaiser campaign. My favorite level to set up in Kaiser campaign was Final Sin, because I was doing this thing of quote unquote demonic corruption, and it was a bit of added funny lore to give the mod some separation other than just Doom Eternal but hard. Whereas as you went on in the campaign, things would just get weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
And so, as you said in your video, Kaiser campaign was just a mixture of this demonic corruption or memes and chaotic encounters. And that was exactly what I was going for. I wanted you to either be laughing or crying. So, Final Sin by far, like I stuck a giant ass through the side of a building because like
And then
that's
filled it with yellow fog. Yeah.
yeah, that shit was fucking hilarious. Oh my god, I remember I was in the Doom Discord and someone posted a screenshot from like one of my teasers or the mod had already released or whatever. And they saw the icon of Zin's ass and they're like, ew, oh my god, gross. But it's like, dude, you're playing a game where blood is like coated and everything.
Yeah.
So like are we beyond poo poo shit parts? Is that really
Like seriously, there can't be at least a little bit of toilet humor. Like,
is that where we draw the line? Or are we that no one is above poo poo shit farts. My boss at it had like a picture of like Vegeta shitting. No, it was like Goku going Super Saiyan on the toilet. That's what it was.
you know what? I can't. That's just hilarious.
Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta be a little bit crazy
Okay.
to enjoy making video games, I guess.
If you think, okay, but I guess they were thinking of like individual encounters, like
Oh shit!
arenas.
Sorry. Okay, fair
No,
enough.
no, no, no.
Fair
Favorite
enough, fair
level is
enough.
also good. That I was totally fine to hear that, but
Okay, okay. Let me think. I don't know. Ah, dude, this is so hard because Final Sin was just a bunch of memes, so it's like it's hard to pick any single one from that. Uh, you know what? I'm gonna say. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say the first couple of encounters at the start of Final Sin, because I wanted to start off serious, like
mm-hmm.
so it is a weave of like 5 or 6 different encounters as you kind of explore that enter like office area that wraps you around. And so I was just like doing monster closets and like prowlers and stuff and maker drones behind every corner in the vents, and all of that like took so long to get the triggers lined up just right. I put a lot of work into that to like show that it was about serious like master level content and not just the jokes.
Yeah, I remember specifically, like, I died just due to this stupid mistake at the first encounter in Final Sin. I was just like, I'm not upset. I really liked that encounter. I'm fine to go back in. And then you're just hit with the whiplash of marauders on a zombie. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I love the escalation bosses too.
mm.
The Dark Lord and Gladiator was really fun to do.
Oh, yeah. I guess you also, when the boss fights, for specifically that one, I remember, you also put in, like, an easy version as well as, like, the quote-unquote hard version. Did you think
Yeah.
that it was getting a bit too much if you, just let it, face 2 bosses at the same time, or?
No, I set a precedent early on where escalation bosses were always like Kaiser campaign from the start was about like kind of breaking rules, and in games generally speaking you have to settle on one definitive experience. You can't give the player options. You
Mm.
can't say, hey, do you want to fight a harder version of this boss? So the mod wasn't just about kicking you in the balls, it was about just giving you more options on how you wanted to play the game at a higher level. And part of that was just like, hey, do you want to fight the really, really hard version of this that I really like, or do you want to fight the version that might be a bit more in your lane? Because Kaiser
Yeah.
Campaign, while it is a mod for like the upper echelon of Doom Eternal, it wasn't meant to be so, what's the word here, gatekeepy, that no one can play it except for like crackheads. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I did go back and fight both versions of the bosses, and because the Gladiator on its own, like, from what you've added in, made it like a harder fight than the original for sure, but then it's just like a Well, 2 at once is like a. I can imagine somebody just hating that. Maybe just because.
Luckily though, I edited stuff like removing the CC from the Dark Lord so that you couldn't like his shield bash would stun lock you and you just fucking die.
Yeah. Now that you mention, I notice it because I am the world record holder in Dark Lord times 20 speedrun, where you play the Dark Lord boss fight 20 times in a row.
Oh, times 20. I thought you meant like at times 20 game speed or something like that.
20 Dark Lords, all in the same arena.
Oh,
Stun lock it.
I'm just seeing your stream that you on top of the roof with like the 50 tentacles. That's also one of my favorite encounters.
Oh yeah, I guess one of my other favorite counters in Final Sin is the purple goo escalation like encounter thing with the
the goo mank.
Yeah, this one right here. This is
so
this is both silly and serious at the same time, which is
like goo. Yeah.
Yes.
The goo on the ground is supposed to be purple, but it's white due to a bug. That was not a sex joke. That was just the game not working. That was a custom AI made by my friend Toyota. The mank that is. He did like texturing for it and stuff, and I'm like, I gotta get this in as like a joke. And Kaiser campaign was already like bursting at the seams because for some reason you can only add so much to Doom Eternal before shit just starts to literally break. And it just won't load. And the mank was like reaching that upper echelon of the sheer number of files that I could add. So that's why like some of his textures were glitching out and stuff.
Okay. I'm just, as we're rewatching this section of the video, I'm just realizing when you said like you want the seriousness, but you also want the silliness, and it's just like that purple goo encounter. I think it just encapsulates both of them at the same time. Because it's
the coins thing, yeah.
Oh, because it's a little bit of a hard encounter, but it's also like entirely playing off the meme that everyone hates purple goo, like.
Oh yeah. I personally love purple goo.
Oh, I think that's a hot take.
So what I don't like it in is in the Exaltia sections where you have no choice but to walk through it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think purple goo as a concept it's just a different kind of arena hazard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Art Complex, like when you first get outside the buildings, they have purple goo that's like scattered in puddles. So it's kind of like a little bit of a tactical, like, oh, you need to avoid the puddles, but still move around the arena. Like if you land in a bad spot, that's kind of on you.
And again, like I added a switch to Art Complex even then to say you can turn off the purple goo. And I think in I'm like 90% sure in Exaltia, I turned the goo off in those like
yes you did. I remember because I was moving at a normal speed and then I jumped randomly and I was like, oh.
Exactly. So like, I'm just breaking rules, giving players options, that kind of thing.
I do like how you didn't tell anybody about the Exaltia, so you kind of just slowly realize that yourself. That would. I don't know. Okay, it's the opposite of Eternal Design, I know, but. I was just curious. Okay, so we did the Kaiser campaign. What about Dark Ages? What do you think your favorite encounter is in there?
I'll give you some context. For Dark Ages, I joined as a combat designer, and I helped do a lot of like groundwork encounters for early versions of maps and that kind of thing. But towards like halfway through the project, I switched over to AI design, just because that was where I was needed more. So luckily I moved over to a different team in the studio from level design to gameplay design, and I worked on a lot of bosses and gameplay sequences, like the amazing high skill hyper cool turret sequences,
Yes, my favorite sections of the game.
Everyone's favorite sequences of the game. Everyone. That's what they're gonna be talking about. Dark Ages in 20 years. They're gonna be like, this game had a pioneered turret sequence.
Yeah, I guess maybe we went a bit too quick. Let's get full context. So Dark Ages.
What I was getting to was that I don't want to take credit away from the combat designers that did the finishing touches on a lot of those maps, because design is a very iterative process, and designers are like painters. So you kind of pass the painting back and forth, and then people will put their own coat of paint on, and the final product is always going to be different than what you initially did. So like I worked on in the final product of Dark Ages, the things that were the most mine, and I hate using this word mine because it's always a team effort, but stuff that I like working on the most is probably the bosses. I really enjoyed Creed
Yes.
and Cthulhu.
Because yeah, you worked on the old one and Creed a lot, right?
I worked on the old one in Creed. I did like nearly everything for the turret sequences. Those are like my big like. This is something that is my
Like
jurisdiction.
like everything from like the animations to the what the turret fires to like
All
what you
the
shoot.
design of how the turret works, the combat that spawns, the way the surf AI works, like that surf in the turret sequence is custom scripted. Like I did all the scripting for that surf.
Hmm.
The like he used a whole different animation set too, so that required a lot of engineering work and planning. Uh, just a lot of like yeah, everything about the turret sequences at least, yes.
Okay, so you just put a target on your back.
What do you mean?
No, that's all good.
Because people don't like the turret sequences?
No,
I mean
wait.
that's fine.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just joking. But
Okay, what I didn't like about that is like how do I put this? Mm,
no, I'm just
there are
saying
things
that
there are things in development that you're not always gonna like yourself, but it's
yes.
your job is to be a craftsman. So you're like it's not I'm not the director, I'm not the team lead. My job a lot of the time is to be like a part of the machine. So that just sometimes means doing the best you can with a concept that you might not necessarily like all the way. But
Oh,
you still gotta give 100%.
oh
There's
yeah,
no question
totally.
about that much.
Yeah, no. I
Yeah.
meant it more in the aspect of that people on the internet, if they don't like things and they know you're responsible for the things they don't like, it's the
No,
internet.
I'm not afraid of people not liking stuff that I've worked on.
Oh
That's
really?
always gonna happen. No,
Yeah.
not at all, dude. I think criticism is extremely important. And the truth of it is not even I like everything I work on.
Oh, so yes. No. I someone who makes things as well. Yes, I agree. Sometimes I'm not proud of it, some stuff I put out.
The turret sequences could have been more inventive. Yeah. No, they could have, dude. With an unlimited budget, I could have made a whole game out of the turret sequences. It's just like you got to do with game commercial design is about making do with the resources you have and the ideas that you can get in. It's a lot of synchronization between multiple different teams and the director and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
do I think they could have been improved? Absolutely, for sure. And do I know what I would have done? Yes. But can I say? Not really.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, especially when you have something like a huge team like id Software, it's just like this is just how it's designed and it needs to be made this way because of
Right.
they've accounted for like budgetary constraints and everything. Like,
Yeah, egos run high, and there's a lot of like
mm-hmm.
effort put in on all sides. So just coordinating is extremely important.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I loved working on Creed Maker. Creed
So
was my probably favorite fight in the game.
I would unironically I say it's my favorite fight too. Like, I love Creed Maker. It's my favorite boss fight in the game. I guess
I worked very closely with my friends Tim Herman and Taylor Ophil from technically Ada Design and from AI Engineering. They were like we were the three main pillars of getting that fight working.
okay. So that fight is very different from a lot of the other fights in Dark Ages because I think that's the one that goes closest to the bullet hell nature of the game.
I can elaborate on that.
Yeah, no. If you want to take it away, please.
It's in my portfolio. Basically, Creed as an AI is a first for it. He for Dark Ages they use a lot more of what's called logic, which
Mm.
is kind of like Unreal Blueprint scripting, visual scripting. In the past, everything was done in the map. It wasn't done through like a scripting menu. But now for Dark Ages, a lot of it is. Um, and for example, a lot of the dragon AI, the AI you fight against the dragon, are like logic based. And
Mm.
the Calibos and the Q in Doom Eternal are logic based. There, anytime you're fighting an AI that's not necessarily like super smart, if that makes any sense, as in like it doesn't have a lot of in-depth and reactive pain systems or gore or whatnot. It usually runs through logic for the simplicity. Creed is a mix of everything that makes logic great and everything that makes AI great. So he has full access to all of the AI systems. That's pain, that's their traversal, that's their state machine. That's what engineering is needed for. Even though I did a lot of engineering work myself, he needed custom coded behavior that I couldn't do. That was the point of engineering, is they would code behavior that I would then try to implement. And then technically ADA design would set up like the logic engineering end. So Creed is a blend of logic scripting and AI behavior. That way he can summon all these different kinds of attacks like meteor storms and hazard orbs, and then he can fire off multitudes of projectiles in unique shapes. That's something that I think was actually iterated on more with Azric and the Witch. I think they also use some logic-based stuff.
Yeah, because I will say from the player experience of Creed, it's basically like he has like 6-7-ish attack moves, and then it's just like it almost seems random, or I guess maybe it's actually, I don't know if you could tell me, are his attacks like random order, or are they all deterministic?
A state machine is inherently deterministic. The hard part is getting it to feel random. So all of like what you don't want to do is to have like a carousel of attacks where he reliably does one after another over and over again, because then you learn the fight near immediately. So phase 1 was a mixture of teaching you these different like puzzles that he would throw out. Like for example, those orbs that he shoots, you can't just circle strafe around them because they seek towards you. Whereas his rapid fire projectiles, you need to circle strafe around them because he shoots so fast. I'm teaching you all these different puzzle pieces, and then in phase 2, we blend multiple of those pieces together to create kind of like a sentence on the AI's end. What was your? Did I answer your question?
Oh, well, we were still technically on your favorite encounter. When it comes to, well, I guess if you're asking a parent what's their favorite child, like it'd be kind of hard to choose a little bit. But I imagine like Creed Maker being at the end, like, you know, the beginning of the ending boss rush, basically. Yeah. It's just like everything is kind of working up towards like the Creed Maker and the boss fight. So I imagine that's a factor on why it stands out. I
don't know. That's an interesting way of putting it, because I played him a lot in just like box maps and stuff. So it was never actually in the context of playing through the entire game first.
Yeah. I guess box maps and all that. Okay, so I guess let's move on to Dark Ages as like a final product. Like, okay, casual experience. What is like the casual experience like for a game you worked on? Just curious.
Define casual experience.
Like, do you, after the game is released or when it's near 1.0 and you have like the, you know, the EXE back, like, do you play through it like quote unquote like from start to end, like trying to, how to put it, imitate like how a casual would play it, or is it just you work on a section so many times it's kind of like how to put it, you kind of get sick of it a little? Like, I'm wondering where on the spectrum it sits.
There are milestones in development, and I don't want to get too in depth about the development cycle of Dark Ages, especially like how that pertains to my career or whatnot. But what I can say is that you just play the game a lot, when you're done, I think what a lot of people do is they just kind of want to put that down because they've been playing it every day for who knows how long, years, like so. It's kind of like it's like, how do I put this? Let's say you're making burgers, right? You make burgers every day for 3 years. When you get off from your job, do you want to go and like sit down for a burger? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I completely get that, because as like when I streamed Doom a lot, like, you know, like when release came around and I was streaming like every day a week, and when I got off, although I was thinking about when I wanted to play, it was like anything but Doom. So that's why I was like, my casual games is like Liza P and a lot of competitive FPSs. I
really want to play Clair Obscur, and because I just hear so many people talking about it, and I want to play Night Rain too because I love Elden Ring. Don't play Night Rain.
No, don't. Elden Ring's just saying, it may not be a topic we want to talk about.
Oh, listen. Everyone has differing opinions on what games they like and don't like. I know you don't like Elden Ring, and that's okay. Not everyone has to like the same things. Like, I get how toxic gamers can be, but you're talking to a developer.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like, I mean, you don't have to worry about me like frothing at the mouth if you don't like a game that I like or anything.
I think that's on me. Sorry, I was trying to make that more jokey than it actually sounded.
Oh, I see. I don't know. I was unsure if you were worried that I was gonna like have some sort of negative reaction to you
No.
not liking something that I did. I don't know.
Nah, sorry, dude. I'm doing a playful amount of trolling, if that
Well,
helps you put it into terms.
Batman is my favorite superhero, and if you don't like Batman, we're gonna fight about it.
Yeah, no, Superman's my favorite Marvel hero too.
That's funny.
Oh, quick question. What's your favorite game period?
That's such a hard question. Okay, so
If you
I
gun to
always
your
like
head
a
and you had to answer, what would be a contender?
Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 would probably be the
Ah,
first thing that comes
good
out
one, good one. Okay, why?
because it's like I actually have more hours in Team Fortress 2 than I do Doom Eternal, despite the fact that I was working in Doom Eternal for years on modding. That just goes to show how much time like I spent in it. I believe Team Fortress 2 is an exact example of the type of game that I want to make. It is a game that knows what it wants to be,
Mhm.
although clearly Valve goes through intense iteration. But I have a
Oh,
massive amount of respect for a massive amount of respect for Valve, especially the team that made the Orange Box. But like it's a game that knows what it wants to be. It's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously, but still goes full effort on the
yeah.
gameplay
Have
mechanics.
you ever looked at the dev commentary sections of TF2?
Oh, absolutely. I've listened to all of them.
Yeah, I had to do that recently for a video I got coming out, and they are. You can just tell the amount of effort that goes into the level design of just for like Team Fortress 2 has this like internal sense of logic of you're actually fighting here on like a mining site or something. So how would a mining site be structured in a way that makes sense with a quarry? And it's like they're
Okay,
working on both
great.
cylinders of, yeah, we know this is a cartoony game, it's not too realistic, but also at the same time, like, they're fighting at a mining quarry. How would it actually be structured, and what purpose would it serve on a gameplay as well as like a world building sort of aspect? That's something I always appreciate about TF2.
So it's just so timeless when you
Yeah.
know how to do a good art style and you know how to make things pretty with the tools at your disposal. You don't need like RTX. You don't need like ray traced like wall physics or anything like that. You just need like some special shiny textures like TF2 does for lanterns and whatever, and you're good.
Hmm.
I think it's really beautiful how they managed to capture such a great atmosphere in that game with what little tools they had.
Oh, sorry, here's just a good question I see. Are there some media, like films or TV series, that somehow inspire you in your game design? Because you are working
Uh,
on a personal project, right? For a game right
ever
now?
everything, everything.
Everything. Yeah. No,
So like, when you're as a designer, and I'm not just talking about video games, you kind of take in all media, and you kind of try to extract whatever you can from it in terms of how you can like take those ideas and here's something funny. Uh, I love Italian mafia movies and shows. I love The Sopranos. I love The Godfather. I love Goodfellas. Goodfellas is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm rewatching Goodfellas like a couple weeks ago, and there's this character. Uh, it's so stupid. There's a character in Goodfellas called Jimmy Two Times or Johnny Two Times or something, and his one joke, and he exists for one line in the movie, is that he repeats everything twice. So he'll like say, I'm gonna go get the drinks," or something like that. And I'm like, oh, I should do a boss where all of his attacks happen like twice, one after another. And then I think to myself, like, dude, that's just fucking Gale from Dark Souls 3. It's like it's not like a new idea. I didn't watch the Goodfellas and come up with like some brand new attack that's never been done before. But it's just you'd be surprised what kind of media actually inspires you.
yeah, no, I think it's probably something like misattributed to Abraham Lincoln or something, but it's like when you're creative, you just take inspiration from everything that you know. Like me, for example, like a lot of my structure of YouTube videos is structured by the people I watch. Like,
Yeah.
the good one.
You know what? I should while we're talking, go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna send you some pictures of since we're talking about personal projects. I'll grab you some pictures of Shadow Badger, and you can pop those on screen later on when I send them
Oh,
over.
yeah. When we talk more in detail, we can show some. If you
Yeah.
want to, yeah, we could.
No,
season.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Because I know a big inspiration for me and my YouTube channel. I talk about this in some of my creator commentaries. Martin Cianito Pants, which is that green frog dude. I take the structure of his videos where it's like the idea of the challenge of you introduce a concept of the title or the video, and then you go into a mixture of commentating, like what's going on, while having some highlights to break up some of the pacing. I really liked that. It's just he goes so ham on the editing, and it's something I can't feasibly do because my skills just aren't there yet.
What's the name of the channel?
Oh, Martin Cianito Pants. Here, I can link it in the...
Martin. Please do.
He does, well, he does everything from challenge runs and speed runs to commentating it to, oh wait, why did it pop up his Twitch channel over his YouTube when I Googled it? Okay. Here, for people in chat who want to see it, that is the dude. I basically... the one I'm thinking of a video he does is like when he plays through the hardest campaign on the depths, or when he does he has a couple of videos about speedrunning Just Cause 3 for whatever reason came across my feed, and I was just like, I'm a speedrunner, what the heck is this guy doing? And then it's like, oh, I found my style. And of course there's still all my personality and jokes and commentary because I'm a different person than him, but it's a major source for me. I guess moving on, are you fine to answer another question?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Ask away, man.
So how did you come to work at id Software? I imagine a lot of it is Kaiser campaign prestige, but could you give us just a little bit more detail on how it worked? Oh, yeah, you kidding me with the quality Kaiser campaign is? Yeah, I'd use the word prestige.
I don't deserve that. Don't say prestige. That there's a giant farting guy. I wouldn't call it prestige. I think a lot of it really just came from like my ambition and my like. It's clear that I'm extremely passionate about what I do, and they didn't really need to train me, because I knew their engine going in, which is extremely rare for proprietary engines like InTech.
Is that
So I think
you
I
knew the
don't
engine
think they.
from? Oh, did you know the engine from Kaiser campaign work?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody came in, saw the farting ass, and is like, we gotta hire this guy. In fact, I don't think many people played them on at all, but that's fine. I think it's just like, the impression that I gave off in my initial interviews, and what helped a lot is.
So did you just like send in an application and like through the official channels? Nothing too special?
Well, initially, believe it or not, they actually turned me down.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, they told me they weren't looking for anyone at this time or something like that. A year later, though, I think something like a year later, I remember I just moved in with my girlfriend, and Jessica hit the HR lead at the time, and it hit me up and is like, hey, you still want the job? And I'm like, absolutely, fucking lutely. So yeah, we dropped everything. I broke my lease with my apartment at that time, just to take the job, and we drove down to Texas with all of our animals in our car, and we live in Texas.
Ah, neat. Okay. Yeah, I guess this is as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, but anyway.
Yeah.
Let me see. There are some pretty good questions here.
Oh yeah. I've been just kind of taking my eye on chat and see if I can pull another one up.
No worries.
Oh wait, actually, you know what? Because you just sent me the pictures, I figured we could just show the screenshots and maybe talk about your personal project for a second as we look for some more stuff.
Sure thing.
Yeah. So, what's the name of your game again? Shadow Badger.
I just sent you a link to the itch.io page.
Here, I'll just.
I published a vertical slice for Shadow Badger, I think in January or February of this year. Extremely rough vertical slice, because that's what it's meant to do. It's just meant to communicate the core, like what does this game smell like from 200 feet away.
Okay.
But I've been working on a vertical chunk build. If I were to pitch Shadow Badger to anybody, in its current state, I would say that it is Quake meets Binding of Isaac.
Mm.
It
Okay.
is a game that is supposed to be like super casual. You can hop in. What's the word here? You can hop in, do like a 30-40 minute run, and then just like be done with it. It's not a game that you're gonna sink like a bunch of hours into. But that's not when I say hours, I mean like in terms of story. It meant like Shadow Badger is like
It's meant to
bite
be
size.
replayed,
Yeah,
right?
very highly replayable. Bite-size combat encounters, stitched together by like portals. So
Mm.
kind of think of like horde mode from Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal horde mode, but with a shit ton of perks. Uh,
Wait, what the heck?
and
You can just download it. It's at the bottom of the link. Hold on, give me a second.
that's the vertical slice build, and it is rough. Yeah,
Okay.
so the vertical slice was a linear level from start to finish, showcasing some of the broad scope ideas that I want for the game. I have since pivoted to it being a roguelike. So it is not, instead of like a linear campaign style game like Doom 2016 or like Doom Eternal, I kind of want to do my own thing and make a more roguelike experience. Like a big focus on combat though. Shadow Badger's I think its biggest selling points are going to be its replayability, its customizability from run to run as you like make your various builds, and just the in-depth interaction between you and the AI.
Yeah, cause okay, when it comes to roguelikes, like I unequivocally just think Binding of Isaac just can't be topped. Mainly just because
You can't top Binding of Isaac, but you can
yeah.
try to make something different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the reason why I don't think Binding of Isaac can never be dethroned is because all of the items and stuff do a unique spin on the game that interact with literally every other item. So it's like if you get quad tiers, for example, in Binding of Isaac, you get and then you get Mother's Knife. Suddenly you're firing 4 knives.
For sure. That's where this game starts to like. That's where it's Quake meets Binding of Isaac. So for example, in Shadow Badger, in my current build, the vertical chunk build that I'm working on, I have about 9 weapons. You only get 3 per run, and you'll get weapon drops. So you'll get the option to swap which gun you have. But you'll lose all the perks you get for that gun. And for example, you have weapon perks, which upgrade your weapons. You have ability perks, which upgrade your ultimate or whatever. And you have player perks, which just modify base aspects about your character. And you can customize all 3 of these run to run to just kind of change how you play. So for example, like, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the perks, like, I guess I'm trying to get at, I want to get at, like, what's like the scope of your modifications and the roguelike elements. And
let me send you a picture. While I'm grabbing you, for example, I have about 100 perks made so far for Shadow Badger. And I am doing this. I am doing something on the level of Binding Isaac where they have synergies. Where when you have a perk that synergizes with another perk you have, there will be an icon on the perk menu which tells you that. It'll tell you that this perk synergizes with this other one you have, but it won't tell you what until you pick it up.
Oh, so it's like you kind of gotta know what the item is and what it does before.
You can, or just the fun of it is like just finding out.
Yeah,
I think.
just picking it up and see what it does. Like, okay, I know what it does now. No, got that little in my back pocket for all of my future runs.
For sure, yeah.
Okay, you said you were making just regular enemy encounters. I think you saw about boss fights as well in this game.
Did you download the
I did
download
it, actually. Hold on, wait, maybe can I? Hold on, let me.
It's just Unreal. It's just Unreal 5. It'll just launch.
Yeah, let me unpack this and hold on. We can see live gameplay.
And that's for again, that slice build is like months and months ago. So I have made huge strides. Like for example, that version of the game didn't have perks. It didn't have like more than 3 weapons. All the AI in that vertical slice build don't exist anymore. They were all very rough, like whispers of what I actually want to do.
So this is like you just trying to nail core gameplay and like,
yeah,
I guess feel sort of.
Exactly, yeah. In game development, generally, You have a vertical slice, which is like, I don't know, 1/12 of what you want your final product to be, and then a vertical chunk is more like a sixth, or even in some cases a third. And then you get to alpha and beta, which are like content complete thresholds.
Windows is telling me that this is a virus.
Absolutely. If you launch Shadow Badger, I will hack into your mainframe using the power of Unreal 5.
Okay, I just hit the boot button.
They wouldn't let it get on itch if it was a virus.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm trying to do a story too for the game, but it's meant to be like you can look at it if you want to, but it's not shoved in your face directly.
Yeah, I imagine. That's kind of quintessential thing of roguelikes, well, except for Hades, because Hades. But okay,
Hades makes up in thirst traps what it lacks and you want story presentation.
Okay. Hold on one second. Welcome to my Let's Play. Where's audio? Yeah, I actually opened. We're going through it a little bit now. Level select tutorial. Let's get into it. Yeah. Holy crud! Default sensitivity.
That's
jump against walls to mantle. Nah, I just have high sensitivity on my mice. Jump against walls to mantle. What the? Oh, you have to double jump. I get it.
Cuphead moment.
Team Takahashi. No. Wait, hold on. What does this say? E. Just explodes. Abyssal abilities.
Yeah. So that's in the vertical slice. I called it an abyssal ability, but
it's the fucking JoJo thing.
Yeah. That's your ultimate, man.
I'm sorry. What?
No, I've got an actual animation for it now. That was just me dicking around in Blender with 6 duplicated models, but I actually have a friend of mine who has animated like an actual stand rush in my vertical chunk build. So it's an actual thing. It's not just like that's the point of the vertical slice. It's like give you a whiff of what it could be like.
You are.
But yeah, like.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, you're going to have a ton of different ultimates, which you build up by absorbing enemies. So think like
kind of like how Blood Punch charges after glory kills, sort of thing. Or I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, except it's just more general of like you need like X amount of kills and then you get access to it or something.
Each enemy gives you a specific amount of hunger.
Ah. And tougher enemies give more, weaker enemies give less, and stuff like that.
I'm pulling a lot for like I have fodder heavy and super heavy enemies. I'm like ripping a lot of what I know. So it's like I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here with like enemy classes, for example. Like bigger enemies give more stuff. Oh, they're saying my voice is doubled.
Oh, your voice. Oh, I see the issue. Oh, my bad. I had to put it on audio so people could hear the game, and yeah. So, okay, you should be good now.
Cool. Thanks, guys, for letting them know.
Yeah, no, thanks. That saves VOD quality. It's very much appreciated. So all just a basic jet. Is there like any? I guess like, is there a lot of sound in this build or not? Just curious.
Sound was not my. There is sound, but it's not like.
Mm.
It's not really the point of the demo. The sound does exist, but it's not like entirely necessary.
Oh yeah, I was just Sorry, my bad. I was just wondering if it would get uncomfortably quiet, but
No, I'm sure we can fill in the silence with my babbling.
For sure. Okay, so I'm already forgetting how to play this game. Oh, it's E.
Okay.
That's the bind. Oh, and it's also an interact. Gotcha.
Absorb is a multi-interact button, so you can use it. For example, in my vertical chunk build, you can use a perk to make it a vacuum, which will suck up corpse bits for health. You can use it to summon a shield, which I know, but you can use it to summon a shield. You can use it to absorb enemies from range.
It just absorbed a course. Yeah. Nice.
Exactly. Absorb is a multi-function ability, which will do a bunch of different things.
Oh, and it like it's the use of glory kill too. Sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. No synced animations, because obviously I don't have the budget for that. But like you use it to kill weakened AI, and it gives you hunger.
Ah, I start to see the loop now. Okay, well,
So those, believe it or not, all of these models, all these AI models were fucking AI generated, and then I rigged them in Blender, myself. So,
Mm.
and I did all their animations and everything. So I had to learn Blender from scratch. But to be clear, I'm not going to be using any AI in the final product.
You
That's
you just did this to get something quick out for a demo purpose.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And even then, like here, if you take a look at the DMs, you'll see that I have actual models now. I have like a whole team that I'm working
Okay.
with.
Ah, okay. Oh yeah. I okay. I just have an issue of I can't show them on Discord with my setup, but
Oh, that sucks. But anyway, I sent you some pictures too. That's maybe like half of my perk list so far.
oh,
And each perk has like an internal name, an actual name that I'm going to be displaying to the player, and then like a description of what it does. So as you can see, there's like a bunch of different ways that the gameplay can change for each. There's player perks, there's weapon perks, and whatnot. It's a shame you can't show it.
yeah. Hold on. Wait, I might be able to. Okay, I figured out a workaround.
Killer.
Okay,
I
I
would love to
must.
show off some of the concept art. I'm working with a really great friend of mine. His name is Vanquish, and he is like the lead artist for the
Oh.
game. As in, he makes textures and he makes enemy concepts. Once I give like broad stroke ideas on what I want to do,
Hmm.
he's great.
Okay, so how many people are working on this game in total?
The core team is about 3 people, but then there's some supplemental people to help out with models and stuff. Because like I'm a designer, not really an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
it's me. Go ahead.
oh, I was just wondering, like, what's this little bumblebee robots thing?
Oh, all of the enemies in the game are either bees or subjugated races by
Hmm.
a race of technologically advanced bees. Um,
Oh,
so basically, there's think like a fascistic race, hive mind of insects that have taken over the world.
like the Halo Covenant almost sort of thing, but
Yeah, basically exactly. I can send you a concept for like the queen, and for example, like I have an AI that I'm calling the Tormentula. With his in-depth name was like the Executioner, and he's
hmm.
basically like this big guy wielding an axe. And he's gonna be a spider though, so he's a spider that's been subjugated by bees or whatever. So like bug Nazis or whatever. I don't know.
Space fascists.
Yeah, like
Gotta
it
protect Super Earth or something.
Warhammery or whatever. Like
I mean, it's a common trope, I guess, for a little bit for a reason of it. It's you can do a lot. It's how to put it. It's just a very quick way to set up the enemy while also having like a diverse range of cast in order to fight.
for sure, like the enemies can be anywhere from like okay, so the basic story of Shadow Badger is you are the basically you know how like there's a trope of Nazis getting into the occult. The
Yeah.
bees are a technologically advanced race of insects. So they like, think techno ranks of dead creatures, which they then raise to fight for them using the power of this god. And this god has been, I don't know, friendly with them for however long. But when they sacrifice the player character, he says to her, like, "Hey, uh, feed me, and I will give you power or whatever, and just cause mayhem, and you will be able to access my strength." So he's basically turned his back on the beings that have fed him because this creature that he's found, he can sense its rage and that it can give him way more.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's like I'm not a writer, but I'll say that much.
Well, I mean, when you're not a writer, you just keep it somewhat simple, and that seems like you just set up world, and then it's just like, yeah, no, and then you got plopped into it, and well, how to put
Yeah,
it? How to?
at its core, I believe lore for the type of games that I want to make should be just an excuse to get.
Yeah, no, I completely. That's what I was trying to get, but I didn't have the words for it. As long as story, yeah, as long as story services the gameplay, like that's effectively like if you do that, you've you've done more than 90% of like, or at least what I see. Oh, your audio cut out during that. Oh, my bad. Okay, apparently when I had the other Discord tab open, which is how I was doing it. It's just it might. Okay, well here, I guess we can. Oh wait. Oh wait, I see exactly what's going on. Fuck. No, this is me on a. Sorry, that's a technical thing on my. I'm trying to set up the scene for like when I have people on and we talk about stuff, and I'm just constantly failing. It's cool. You live and you learn. As my favorite soundtrack to my PS2 platformer would say, or Dreamcast platformer.
Anyway, there's three guns in the build you're playing.
Yeah.
There's the shotgun, there's the freeze thrower, and there's the hive kicker.
Okay. Alrighty, I'm already confused on what to do.
No, you're good. Basically, I try to use like in this vertical slice, I try to use like diegetic, like just learning, let you explore and figure it out on your own.
Oh, okay. So if I feel a little lost, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, you're supposed but there's also a lot of like backtracking. I'm giving you a hint here, but like
backtrack. Yes. Oh.
It's not entirely linear.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so programmed for linear experiences that I forget that no, some games don't do that. Oh.
Those zombies.
Ah,
are like
I see it strategically placing on a platform behind it so that you'd shoot the wall down. I see your tricks.
Perhaps.
Can't wait for the Game Maker's Toolkit explanation of that. No, not gonna lie, small things like that are very cool though, because I don't know, it feels natural, but you know it's orchestrated. I don't know, something about the vibe.
Yeah, so this is like the introduction to zombies. This is like an enemy.
I saw this give you a speed boost in the trailer. Oh. Yes.
Yeah, so each gun has like some base functionality to it, and then you'll be able to modify, like, for example, an upgrade that I'm working on for the freeze throw right now is that like it shoots out like clouds in the air. And then an upgrade for that will be that the clouds explode into ice shards when they dissipate. So stuff like that, you know? Just different ways you can change up the weapon's use.
Mm-hmm. Let an upgrade that changed the ways of how it's played.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the heart is like a gore nest. You're supposed to absorb it.
Oh. Oh, I see. I thought it was cutting out because it was done, but no, it was
It has like a thing around it that tells you how far you are from absorbing it.
Yeah, I just misinterpreted that. Oh, what the left click and right click do different things?
Yeah, every single gun has an alt fire. Every single gun will have an alt fire. So the shotgun for Shadow Badger, I think, is like a combat shotgun and a super shotgun all in one. So primary fire shoots like a medium to long range shot that consumes 1 ammo, and then alt fire consumes 2 ammo and shoots a shorter range but higher damage shot.
Holy crud, you are onto something with the frickin' JoJo's reference, unironically.
That's just one ultimate, though. That's just the one shitty version of the ultimate that I made for the vertical slice. I have like 6 made right now.
They're going to be multiple ultimates. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to swap them out before your run starts, or like offered to swap them in like special events or whatever.
Oh.
So like think like your active item in Isaac. That's basically what it is in this game.
Okay. I already love this one, so I think you're onto something. That's all I'm saying. Woo. Okay, I gotta get used to the slide top. Crud.
The slide is entirely physics based. So like as you go down slope surfaces, you gain speed.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that immediately, and that's something I always appreciate when they build in like putting physics into everything is just cool. Okay, I'm unbiased. Checkpoint saved. Oh, I went back to the beginning. I see.
For the original version of Shadow Badger, the one that was going to be like a focused linear campaign, I wanted to experiment a lot with non-Euclidean spaces. So believe it or not, the space like that you're entering a. You know what? I'll just let you figure it out.
Yeah, no. I entered a door. Wait.
Look down.
Yes. Oh. Please, can I fall forever? Ah. All right, going back.
Basically, like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
it's an impossible space.
Oh, and then... Oh, and then I'm right back to... Oh, I see, and it loops back... Ah.
I've kind of taken that concept and I've iterated on it a bit, whereas instead of like, because it's really hard to fit combat into non-Euclidean spaces just because the nature of it doesn't really work. So instead, I'm using this portal system to connect combat rooms. Like Binding of Isaac rooms, basically. You complete a combat puzzle, and then you use a portal and get taken to the next combat puzzle in a map.
Yeah, and then sometimes, I guess you just teleport to the same map but a different area. Is that like how that was done?
Yes, that's how it was done for this. But well, no. For this room, like you'll notice that you actually like it flips. Like your orientation flips when you go through the portal.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that we're sideways. I don't know if this is the same room, but that just might be because I'm not observant.
It's the same room flipped 90 degrees.
I got the impression it was that, but I couldn't know for sure. Oh, and then right down here. Okay, perfect. Use the slide-based physics. Whee. Oh. Oh, we're just back here. Cool.
Exactly. Yeah. That shadow realm like area is completely separate. It's like 500,000 meters away. It's not connected to the central hub area at all. But I'm using the portals to connect those places.
I guess that also helps for the because I'm guessing some of the intention with the Dark Realm is like you don't know what's going on. It's supposed to be a little mysterious and creepy.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that it's just like doesn't make sense geometrically almost kind of reinforces that.
For sure. I haven't really explored that more recently in the roguelike, but that was like fucky weird environments was something that I wanted to do. Now, see, you wrap back through this hub section a few more times. Like I think it's 3 times you come back through that central room. You're not done yet. There's still more. There's still a boss fight.
Oh, I gotta get to the boss fight at least. Wait, is there anything down here? No, that's just death. Okay, cool.
Look around this room. There was more to that. There was more to that upper section you were in before you jumped down. No, don't go back to the Shadow Realm, not the arena.
Oh.
There's nothing in the arena for you.
Okay.
I'm like, if.
Are you talking about in the?
Drive so much. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I see up there.
Do you want me to backseat drive?
No, you're fine to backseat a little bit. I don't mind that for these types of things. I mean, I kind of like how the dev is telling me to play just a little bit. Oh, secret. Oh, big question marks. Yeah.
This will not be a problem with the roguelike version.
I imagine.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I imagine, because how far ago was this build again? Sorry, I
want to say 5 months, which is a crazy long time in terms of like vertical slice to vertical chunk.
Okay, red key, cool.
Yeah, it's very clearly like 1990s, like Quake, Doom.
Yeah, no, I got the vibe from the floating secret mark. Oh, I keep forgetting to use my 2 other guns, huh? Oh, a nail gun. Yeah, no, I get what you mean by Quake. Although, the heck does this? I'm hitting right click.
So this gun charges up a meter in the bottom right hand corner.
Oh.
You charge it up just by shooting.
And then you
Yeah. Oh, and the freeze thrower has an air blast.
And then that's a cannonball. Ooh, yarg.
Yeah, kind of like the Impaler, sort of like a big spike that launches out from the center of the gun. You can see that spike there.
Yeah.
So I think did you hit the red switch?
Oh, no, I had to get the secret.
No, you're good. I'm gonna keep backseating. It's okay.
It's the classic Doom. If I have to see a secret, and then it's like I have to stop doing literally everything until I get it. So hit the red switch. Oh, is that what came?
Yeah, the elevator. I think you're a bit behind, but.
Oh yeah, because latency and whatnot. Oh, Hive Warrior. Hello. Oh, game almost.
Yeah. There's music and everything. I don't know if you can hear the music.
Oh.
No, it's okay. I'm working with a good friend of mine, Alamander Arts, who did the music for like some of the Kaiser campaign trailers and stuff. Yeah, so like the game has a full composer and everything.
Hmm. Oh, what the? The shockwaves.
Yeah, and this was all super rough. So like I was still getting AI systems worked out, and a lot of it's hacked in. But this AI doesn't even exist anymore. That's how far I am into it.
Ground slam was a bit too much for. Okay, skill issue. Oh, I should have went. Okay, well, long way.
Well, I mean, I have a checkpoint system built.
I'm doing the walk of shame.
Oh, okay.
I feel bad about myself, so I deserve that.
You have no idea. You have no idea how much work it takes just to get like a basic checkpoint system going.
I imagine. Is it like all positional triggers and whatnot?
Kind of, sort of. I've ripped off as much as I could from id Studio.
Hmm. There we are. Speed to get away. Keep distance. Oh.
Yeah, so you can freeze him. You can freeze him here. The status effects are more built out in the version that I have locally, where like freeze is an actual status effect driven by Unreal gameplay systems and whatnot.
I do not have ammo. Okay, well. Is there a way to get ammo back in the loop, or?
Yes, in this build, it's your ultimate. Your ultimate gives ammo.
Oh, okay.
However, in the actual game, that's not the vertical slice. You will have full weapon slots. And instead of starting out with nothing, you will start out with a knife always. And killing enemies or hitting a boss with your melee weapon, kind of like Dark Ages, will give you ammo back. Although it's less of like the Dark Ages melee where you just press a button, and it's more like an actual weapon with an alternate fire that you have to pull out. So like think like TF2 or whatever.
Teleport right behind me. Holy crud,
Yeah,
he's
so
doing combo moves now.
Yeah, this version is super rough. I talked about like hating my past work, and this is just one of those where I was really proud of it when I put it out, but I've done so much more in the past couple of months that I just look at this and I'm like, oh, it sucks.
Well, even if that was a really rough cut, like, I don't know, there's a semblance of something there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's the point of a vertical slice. Is like the very bare bones version of what you want to do. It's not meant to have any like super in-depth mechanics or anything.
Yeah. It was just more like, oh, this boss has certain moves. You can attack and dodge. What the? I guess arrows. Wait. Yeah.
Oh, you found the bounce pad, yeah.
I was just like, is gravity going to shift for a second? And I just jumped up.
That's, like I said, bounce pad or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, if people want to check out my progress, I've been trying to post more devlogs to my YouTube. It's mainly just me, like, going through Unreal and talking about what I've recently worked on. But I may start putting more effort into the videos from this point forward if people are really interested.
Okay, yeah. So that's happening at Kaiser Will, right?
Yeah, on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I think I have you in the title. So yeah, people just click on the title at Kaiser Will, and you'll be able to find all their stuff. Yeah, no, I can see this game is very cute. In the sense of, I imagine, yeah, because you were saying that you iterated again and again and again on it.
Oh, for sure. No, it's a game in active development. So it's like at this version. Ooh, this is a toughie. For example, at the vertical slice of Dark Ages, you can. In fact, I'm sure there's probably some footage that got leaked.
Yeah.
I saw like. You can see that a lot of stuff is really rough. I think that footage is much farther along than the vertical slice. And the vertical slice of Dark Ages, For example, no one knew what the weapons were or how
Mhm.
shield bash worked, or like what any of the AI were gonna be or what any of the levels were. It was just, hey, we want to do medieval Doom. You have a shield, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Quick question from Bloodshot. Is most of this done with blueprints, or do you have a dedicated developer as well?
Oh, it's done. So for core systems that are hard to do in Blueprint, I'm working with a programmer for, like, for example, the perk system. You can probably pop an image of the perks on screen. It's done using a data system. I mean, a data table, and that's fed into code. For example, like a perk query to determine what perk you're gonna get when you pick that up. Uh, Sorry, I'm getting too in depth.
Oh no, no,
Simple
please,
answer.
it's fine. I bet Bloodshot is loving all the technical details.
Simple answer is, I want to say maybe 60-40 blueprint to code,
Hmm.
or maybe even more, like 80-20 blueprint to code. But I'm doing most of it in blueprint myself, and I have a developer who helps me with like more structural stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I'm like, I do pretty much everything in the engine though. Like, I have people that help me with code and
Yeah.
whatnot, but
So it's primarily
every yeah.
it's primarily a one-man show with several people like contributing from time to time.
Exactly, but I would say Shadow Badger is nearly as much Vanquish's project as it is mine. He's done all the art and stuff, so I think that's, like, for nearly all the textures in those maps were his.
Ah, okay. So I guess what are you looking for like a schedule, I guess, for Badger? Like what's your goal with it?
Oh God, man, that's the hardest part, is because uh I'm working at a professional job.
Mhm.
To give you some context, I maybe work about 10 hours a day
Hmm.
every day of the week. And when I'm not working at my professional job, I'm working on my personal project on the weekends. Um, so there is no defined schedule, simply because I wouldn't be able to stick to one if I had one.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of as I go kind of thing, and it'll be done when I know it's done. Because,
Hmm.
I love working on games. It's an art form, but I don't want to rush it. I'm not beholden to any publisher right now, so I just want to make the best kind of art that I can, instead of like stressing myself out for no reason.
Hmm. Okay, so it's more like date doesn't really matter. It'll be finished when it's finished.
For sure, I do want to publish the vertical chunk build on Steam. The
Hmm.
vertical chunk I would like to have done by the end of the year. In fact, it's almost guaranteed to be done by the end of the year, unless like I get hit by a car or something.
Hmm.
But the vertical chunk will be the first level of the game, and when I say level, I'm talking about like 35 different combat rooms, like 35 different puzzles, like easily over 100 perks fully implemented, 9 weapons, like 12 enemies.
So
That
so it is basically Binding of. You'll release a build that is like just Binding of Isaac basement, effectively, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, yes, that is exactly what I'll be doing. Correct.
Would that be like the early access or whatever?
Early, I mean, if I'm playing for money, then yeah, I guess early access. Otherwise, it'll be free.
Hmm.
Some guy asks in the YouTube, so is it like Ultra Kill? That is, I love Ultra Kill, but the last thing I want to do is to hop on the bandwagon of like, this game is Ultra Kill but X. I
Yeah, because Ultra Kill kind of inspired a bunch of Ultra Kill clones, and like that's almost
Yeah,
used almost disparagingly by people.
Shadow Badger is so. Ultra Kill takes so much from Quake and
Hmm.
id stuff that it's like, at which point, like, at what point is it this like an Ouroboros? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A self devouring snake. Like, I made a Doom game. I worked on a Doom game, and then, like, some games take inspiration from Doom, and then other people take inspiration from them. Whereas I'm trying to iterate on my own over here in a corner. Like,
Yeah.
I love Ultra Kill, but I'm not making an Ultra Kill clone.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
I mean, even if it was an Ultra Kill clone, I don't think it matters. But I got more of a vibe that is very much more Doom like than Ultra Kill like.
Yeah, very heavy emphasis on like resource management, and like smart AI. Not to insult Akita. Akita's a great developer. I'm friends with Akita, and I love Ultra Kill. But like for example, I don't think the AI in Ultra Kill have a lot of status effects. and I think a lot of them only do one attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is very simplistic, the enemy design.
And that's to play to the game's strength. That's just what the game. That's what the game is, and it works great for Ultra Kill. But for Shadow Badger, I kind of want to take like think like Ultra Kill, but I don't know, upgrades from Binding of Isaac and the quality of AI from something like Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal, with like in-depth systems that you have to interact with.
Oh, I guess they were referring to like your development process being kind of like Ultra Kill, where there's one main guy and then just a bunch of. I think that might have been the interpretation of their message that just didn't come across.
I see. Yeah. No, that's okay. I mean, I wouldn't say Ultra Kill's design team is necessarily like a unique flow. I would say it's like that, yeah. Whereas there's one main guy kind of like driving the ship, and then like people who help out where I am not as good. Totally, absolutely. Like I am not an artist. I am not a programmer. I can program and I can animate and rig and I can do some art, but it's not like at a level that I would feel comfortable slapping on a product for like $20. So
yeah, you kind of eternally exist at this level of, well, how good are you at something? I'm good enough, and
I know
that's kind of the goal.
I know what my skill set is, and I'm trying to play to the strengths of my skill set with Shadow Badger. I'm not trying to become too ambitious.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're kind of reaching more of a natural conclusion with going from Kaiser campaign to Dark Ages to where you're at now. I guess I'll just open the floor of chat. Do you guys have any more questions for Kaiser? If not, it's cool. We can just, I guess, all right, favorite non-FPS game? Go. Like, a different genre.
Okay. Non-FPS game is easy. I love Isaac. I mean, I've been talking about it for the past hour.
Yeah, rogue. Okay, that was the easy answer. Not roguelikes now excluded from the list, too.
Roguelikes are excluded?
Specific, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Does The Witcher 3 count?
Yes, it does. Actually, good choice. I love Witcher 3.
Yeah, I love CD Projekt. They make great stuff.
Yeah, no, Witcher 2 and 3 are two of my favorite games of all time.
I know you're probably done. I kind of do want to watch it play Creed though one more time.
Oh, the what?
If you really want to, Creed. I know you've played Dark Ages so many times the past couple of days. I kind of expected you to just like play Dark Ages while I kind of just bitched in the background about stuff.
A little. I don't know. Okay, well, here, if you want to, well.
Sure, why not? Hey, I love Hades. Someone says in chat Hades was good too. Absolutely, dude. I fucking love everything Supergiant does.
Oh, what do you? I guess, okay, let's shift the perspective a little bit more to what I'm known for in speedruns. As a dev, what do you guys think of all of our speedrun glitches and whatnot? Like weapon wheel clips, for example.
I think it's really cool that you guys find all sorts of cool shit to break the game. I don't really feel one way or another about you, like, I don't like, grr, he skipped this sequence. That kind of stuff doesn't really bother me. I think it's exciting that you find all these cool ways to play with the game. Really, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, no, every dev I've talked to on id side who I've talked about speedrun and speedrun glitches has said like the same thing, which I think is a good sign for id Software.
I think something's wrong with a company if their reaction to people having fun with their game is negative. Like I've seen companies like be completely against their game being modded, and it's like, why would you do that? It's free publicity, free exposure. But I guess they're just really egotistical.
Yeah. Do you... Oh, okay. This is a very specific example that I'm going to say. Do you know the Souls-like game called Another Crab's Treasure?
Yeah, I've seen it. What's up?
On Twitter, they once called okay, Moist Critical was running a speedrun challenge for their game completely independently. Like, he just did this because he wanted to do that game for a speedrun challenge.
Yeah.
And the devs called Moist Critical for having the category be any % unrestricted, so like every glitch is allowed. Yeah. And they called some of the speedrun tech using that run, and I quote, lame ass.
What was it, lame ass?
I mean, that's a matter of opinion.
In your opinion?
In my opinion, I think it was fine. Like, it was basically just movement tech to get around the world quickly. It was like, how do I put it? It's basically a glitch that gave them a lot of distance very quickly, specifically height, I think.
I see. I guess like the worst reaction that a developer could probably have to a speedrun is if they just avoid all the content entirely rather than finding unique ways to do like smaller skips, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I guess, for example, my example of like a lame ass skip would maybe be mantle warping the entirety of Siege away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the fact that we can just open up
Yeah,
weapon
I mean,
wheel at the door and get directly to the ends.
yeah, I understand that you can do that. And
Yeah.
that's what people did in Eternal too. They just skipped to the end of the level. But I guess maybe what they could have been looking for was like smaller skips.
Yeah.
That showed off more of the game. I don't know.
I mean, it's fair for devs to have those preferences because we as speedrunners have those preferences. That's why we make different categories where it's like we can appeal to both.
For sure. I've always been a fan of speedrunning. I watched a ton of YouTube videos about it, like Summoning Salt and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, no. Summoning Salt was on my going to sleep playlist for a long time.
His intro is a bit loud.
I mean, it's so iconic. I feel like it's one of those things that I just learned to live with.
I watched so many videos where like, he cheated at this speedrun. And it's just like a spliced Minecraft run or a spliced Elden Ring run or something stupid, but there's so much drama around it that it's like soap operas almost.
Yeah. No, cheating videos and speedrunning have this reputation of just being like way more popular than any other type of speedrunning content. It's kind of I'm in a speedrunning Discord with a bunch of speedrun content creators, and it is occasionally talked about of how people feel the pressure to, or pressure or anti-pressure to talk about cheating because cheating videos do really well, which gets them more money. But there's also kind of a hatred because like some people are like, oh, cheating videos, like kind of doing that for the money, aren't you? I don't
judge. It's another example of like sometimes you just got to do stuff you don't want to provide.
Yeah, exactly.
Like for example, I was in a video, a stream with lmao and Horde Mode Gaming.
Nice.
Like I want to say 2 weeks ago, and they were.
Oh wait, Frick, that's you. I saw a clip of that on Twitter. Holy, sorry, just taking it back.
On
yeah,
Twitter?
No, I did.
What? What on Twitter? What'd you see?
Like what? I'm pretty sure like they're in my Twitter sphere of, like
Was it something funny though?
Frick, I can't remember it exactly, but I think that podcast. I'm in the same Twitter sphere. I see their stuff all the time on Twitter, so I think I saw a small clip from it.
Well, don't worry about it. Yeah. But like basically, I asked Horde Mode like, what the fuck is up with the voice? And I think he's locked. His answer was that he's kind of just locked himself into it. Like he just can't help not doing the voice when he reads a script. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the YouTuber voice. Yeah, exactly. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
And he told me it wasn't intentional, but it just always happened. I guess it's kind of like that where you kind of lock yourself into something, and now he is just known as the guy with the funny voice in the Doom sphere.
Cosmos is wondering do you have any competitive game that you enjoy playing, like League, Counter-Strike, Marvel Rivals, etc.?
I absolutely hate League. I'm gonna be real with you.
Mm.
I hate League of Legends.
Or MOBAs in general, or specifically League?
I'm not a MOBA guy, but I have a distinct hatred for League.
Bad blood?
No, I just really don't like League. I think the game. How do I put this? I think that League players are a certain type of people.
Just don't like the community.
And I think League is just one of those games that actively inspires rage just by playing it.
Yes. After I've been playing a lot of Deadlock, which is a new MOBA, and I can completely understand now why League players are some of the most toxic. Because
it's like, but surely the devs see that when making the game, right? It's not like you don't see that your design causes stress in your players. That has to be something that they pick up and actively ignore. I don't know. I'm not working for Riot, so I can't really speak to their design tendencies. But
yeah, no, I understand. But what's an example of a competitive game that you like if you have one?
Oh, dude, there's a ton. I love competitive games. So because I make games, I don't spend a lot of time practicing competitive games. So I'm kind of rusty. But I love the finals is probably my biggest competitive game that I'm playing right now.
I,
I'm on and off the finals. I think I mentioned it earlier.
yes. No, good choice. Oh.
No, I did mention. I talked about Embark. Yeah, the finals is great. It's totally underrated. If there's anyone here now who wasn't here earlier, should play the finals. And right, Joe. I know you're probably about to end the stream, but I really do think you would have gotten more viewers had you played Dark Ages, man. People love the Doom content.
They do, but at the same time, it's like,
Sure
if I was sitting here playing Dark Ages all the time, I wouldn't be able to be as attentive as I am with the conversation, and ADHD already kicks my ass enough, dude. Like,
totally, I get that.
So it's more like, if I get less viewers with stream, it's like, fuck it, who cares, dude? I'm enjoying the stream more, and like, I don't care if
But you mentioned League, like Marvel Rivals.
Yes.
We were talking about Marvel Rivals at id when I was there, working on Dark Ages. Like Marvel Rivals, we talked about it a bit, but it's like, I don't know. I got so burnt. I got so burnt by Overwatch that I have just not touched a hero shooter since.
You were talking about your favorite game being TF2. By one metric, Overwatch is my favorite game. I have almost
really?
4 hours. I have almost 4,000 hours in Overwatch. Like,
really? So I probably have a significant amount of time in Overwatch too. I played Overwatch, dude. I remember I was in high school when the Dragons trailer dropped. I was in my senior year of high school, either senior or junior, and I get home and I see the Dragons trailer and I just get so fucking hyped for Overwatch. I played that game day one. I skipped school to play it, and I played it for years and years. The only time I started really dropping off was like around Brigitte.
Yeah, like, everyone dropped off around Brigitte. Yeah.
That was the turning point for me, and like the Overwatch, I got back into Overwatch when Overwatch 2 released. I was, how do I put this though? Like there were some changes I liked, and I played a bit more of it, but the magic was just kind of gone.
Yeah, no, I got back into it when Overwatch 2 dropped, and I promptly lost a couple more 100 hours of my life.
Yeah. I mean, Overwatch is a great game. It's just like I saw someone say in chat about like how League, it's easy to be griefed by your team. It's the same way in Overwatch. Like, there's just so many ways that your game can get absolutely ruined by stuff out of your control.
Okay, I think I am. Well, hold on. We're not going to end the stream, but I'm going to pull up Doom the Dark Ages. Maybe we can go through the Resurrection mission at least, and then get to Creed Maker.
Sure.
Your baby boy, and then after we do that and we talk about that, we can end it there.
Yeah, that sounds good. You can end it sooner if you want to. If you get really tired, I know I'm getting tired of talking.
Oh no, if you want to go too, dude, I'm fine to chat and do this. I suggest it because I'm up for it.
Yeah, I know. I would love to watch you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Perfect.
While you're booted up, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna grab a drink.
Yeah, no, sounds good.
5 seconds, literally. Thanks.
Hi, chat. How's it going? Haven't been talking to you. Sorry, Kaiser and I have just been kind of enveloped in conversation. That's sort of how it works. Echo from Kaiser again? Yeah, that's just because I just swapped scenes and didn't disable his custom sound profile. I have to do that at points. I guess I could just change scenes now that we're doing this, but yeah. Hello, hello.
Echo from Kaiser again, they said.
Yep. That's... Luckily, I fixed it, so...
Someone keeps asking about...
Yeah, I don't think Kaiser can talk...
updates.
I don't think Kaiser can talk about what updates are coming to Dark Ages or... what's the plan to help with certain hardwares or anything. I'm sorry, folks. I just don't think they have the information.
Yeah, I'm a combat designer. And even, okay, so I'm not... I think I explained this to you at one point, but I left id.
You did?
A while ago. Yeah, a while ago.
Yeah. How long about?
A couple of months. Probably okay. That's partially why I'm able to talk so freely. You know, it's because I'm not bound to well, I still have an NDA. There's not like any risk
Yeah.
of me chatting about my work. Whereas there might be a bit more red tape if I still actively worked on the game.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of like you don't have to worry about speaking even slightly out of line because you won't get reprimanded in office.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I'm working. I'm currently working on a game called Alien Rogue Incursion as the lead combat designer for that game. Basically.
Oh, wait, hold on. Could I, before we do anything, actually, I kind of want to just see what that game is.
It's like the best comparison for a game that you probably know. Ah, fuck, you're gonna be sad. It's gonna be Doom 3. It's like it's kind of like a it's kind of like a
Sorry, what is the name of the game exactly again? Incursion. Oh, is that based on the Alien franchise? Wait, the VR game? Oh. Ah. Wait, the Evolved, what does the Evolved Edition do? Oh, okay, so just, you can play this with a mouse and keyboard version. Oh, my, I don't, thank you, people, for dealing with the technical issues. You should be able to hear Kaiser now. Hi, yeah, so Alien Rogue Incursion is the game you're currently working on, the flat screen version, for those who missed that previous.
Yeah, you can look up Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition.
Okay, here, let me just... Evolved Edition. Ah, there we go. Then just pull up the trailer.
Yeah, so I'm the main combat designer for this game. So basically, like player mechanics, weapons, player behavior. God, I'm not gonna really talk about that much more because I'm not really authorized to be like a representative of Servios. So
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
this for all purposes, like you're just working on this. I think that's cool, and no other information really needs to be said.
Yeah, I'm just new horizons, new team, expanding my career. So like I think I love VR and getting to adapt a VR game to like a more standard flat screen experience. That's kind of my wheelhouse. Has been really fun.
Yeah, I imagine because it does it give you any like how do I put it back in the days of Eternal modding? Is it does it bring up feelings like that?
I wouldn't say that, but it's like it's a new experience.
Okay, it's different feeling. Gotcha. Alrighty.
You can probably hop back into Dark Ages.
Yep. Doing that now. So
the outer defenses were slaughtered. Nobig's forces are surrounded.
So you worked
Doom
from.
Dev, are we gonna get a fight through soon? Sorry, you were saying? I worked for almost 3 years. I did.
Oh, really? And that's just over the course of the Dark Ages lifetime. Well,
basically, yeah. I joined very early on in the project, and I left. I left just before release, I think. That's not the end. I mean, that's not the end of the world, though. Like,
yeah.
That's just how the games industry works. People come and go all the time. Like half the team, I want to say like maybe a good third of the people that I worked with Dark Ages on, just kind of moved to other, like they got picked up by Epic or they went and they did their own thing. It's just how the industry is.
Yeah, games industry is very much how do I put it? We were just talking about the Ouroboros of eating each other. It's like, yeah, no, I think that kind of happens with devs.
Absolutely.
They just kind of transfer around a bunch of the time.
And what's funny is Dark Ages is mostly a new team.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, you can just find this out by just referencing names on LinkedIn. But like, a lot of the people that worked for Dark Ages, like, I mean, that worked for Eternal. I mean, they like Saber, Empty Vessel, other like id adjacent studios. Those all got started or like got really kicked into high gear after Eternal because a lot of like the top tier talent like Jason O'Connell, Emmanuel Paliak, who were like level designers and creature designers respectively, like they just moved on to new horizons. It's great, but it's like I'm sure people only want to work on Doom for like so long.
I can imagine, yeah, the need for variety, especially with id Software's track record, knowing that they make, well, like, I guess the stereotype is they make.
Now, in my opinion, I think they're the Doom studio now.
Yeah,
they're Microsoft Doom. They're Microsoft Doom studio.
I remember.
Which is okay.
Yeah, I remember when talking with some devs at QuakeCon, there was a lot of the question of if a Quake remake would come up,
Oh, dude, I wore my Quake shirt first day of QuakeCon to fuck with people. because I think that was no wait okay. That was before Dark Age was even revealed. I went to QuakeCon with a Quake shirt. I think this was when Quake 2 released. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were the.
The remaster.
I worked on that, by the way.
Oh, neat. What did you do in there?
Updated light placement, because that's it's not like new combat or anything. So I was just helping out with stuff that was necessary to make a remaster of an already finished product.
And that was just like basically making sure all the. Wait, okay. Stop me if this is wrong, but it sounded like you.
New lights, basically.
New lights, gotcha.
Yeah, I wasn't like changing enemy placement or anything. It was just like, it was a really small part. I'm not saying that like, you know, I just got to say I worked on Quake 2. That's really it.
I mean, that's something to put that catches eyes on resumes a little.
I guess. I mean, it's even funnier because Quake 2 was originally a game released like 5 years before I was born, which is crazy.
Yeah. Quake came out the year I was born. Mm-hmm.
There's working on an old IP, and then there's working on a game that was literally released before you existed.
Mm.
I find that just extremely fascinating. What's funny, this is I'm not sure this is public, but I was actually the youngest guy at id for quite a long time.
Really? At what age?
22.
22?
No, 20 when I was hired. 20 when I was hired. Actually, yeah.
Ah, I mean, that's got to be a solid achievement. Or at least it feels like it.
It was at the time, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, that was going on maybe 4 years ago, so I'm 23 now.
Ah. So when it came to like, I don't know what we were on before, but I guess I'll just swap gears. When it came to your role in the combat aspect of it, you said that was like the first half of your experience at it was with that. What exactly was that you worked on in that area?
Combat,
like encounter placements or enemy placements, like anything like that?
All combat designers are level designers, and all level designers are combat designers. The major difference is the level of work that the two do. So combat designers work more on the scripting side, but they still do blockouts. They still make arenas, you know, everything that a level designer does, just maybe at a lower capacity.
Gotcha.
Whereas a level designer is more focused on, you know, the actual level side of it.
Yeah, how the encounters like flow into one and each other.
Exactly. So you work with a level designer to help sculpt an area. And you can like push and pull the geometry a bit to best suit combat. And you know, you make encounters, you script checkpoints, you do everything to get a block out to a finished product, essentially, aside from like putting in art. Usually, you know, art teams do that.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess like how much does the art team do about, like, if I'm looking at like this arena right now, for example, like...
Oh, I do everything. Dude, our team, this is something you can find it on LinkedIn too. Like, a lot of contractors were hired for Dark Ages.
Oh, for the visual aspect of it?
For the art, dude. You know how massive these levels are?
Yeah, no, I imagine. Like, if you look at how... I always say that ever since Eternal, I think, I know, ever since Eternal, 2 games. That's a pattern. But, I think... Eternal and Dark Ages have some of the prettiest looking levels, like, in gaming, period.
Yeah, but in terms of actual surface area, it's no comparison. Dark Ages has absolutely massive levels. It's like, I want to say it's like 2 or even 3 times the art when you include the Atlan and Dragon sections, even though they're you know, lower detail. Those are real scale. Those are real scale. The Atlan is actually 50 like stories tall in the game. He's actually that tall.
Oh,
it's not smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, we have a glitch in the any percent speedrun where we can get
access to that one area as the Slayer. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see the low resolution they had to make the enemies walking on the ground because I imagine just the amount of textures was just so much that they had to give slack somewhere.
No, absolutely, but that's just good optimization.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, you can see that the scale is real. So the levels are just disgustingly massive sometimes, and that requires a very large art pass. So whereas like you're playing what, Final Battle?
This is Resurrection.
Resurrection. I never played. Okay, yes. I think Aaron Langston made this. I could be wrong. I'm not gonna say who made this, just on the because I don't want to be wrong and hurt their feelings. But yeah, Aaron did a great job of this. I think if it was him, didn't really play the later half of the game as much, but I played a shit ton out of everything from intro to I want to say, let me see, the beginning of Act 3. So like when you first get taken to the Cosmic Realm.
Oh yeah, the city of Raul.
Yeah, at that point I was AI, right? So most of my time was spent in test maps. And I played the real game too, but it was just not as often, you know. And I certainly didn't learn the maps inside and out like I did with the earlier ones when I was a combat designer. It's just a different workload, you know.
Oh yeah. So, oh wait, sorry. I think we kind of talked around. I was just thinking about so wrapping back around to when it came to the encounter and combat stuff that you worked on for the first half. I don't think we got around to answering exactly like what you would do like practically in an encounter. So,
for example, all the scripting for I want to say the first half of like Hebeth, for example, that first pass was all done by me and the level designer. Like the combat placement, the enemy spawns, monster closets, like having them jump through walls and stuff. I said checkpoints already. I worked on that first Atlan section in Hebeth for like a long ass time. Yeah, so I said encounter setup, scripting, you know, anything that's not main level design. Even though I made arenas and stuff, like I made blockouts in my own maps. It's just I wasn't in charge of an entire level's geometry. I'm pretty sure there is a arena that I made in Holy City A. In Sentinel Barracks. I think is what they called it. I made an arena there.
Ah, okay.
And I made arenas that were in earlier versions of the game. But as you well know, like this game doesn't have as many skate parks. It has like these.
Oh, you mean like those like Doom Eternal very styled arenas where you can just like, yeah. I guess like yeah, speedrunners were used to using movement tech to like skate park them, but
they were like Tony Hawk skate parks with the ramps. And that was your whole point, was like it was just a fun to move around space that you were locked in for a short amount of time. We do kind of the opposite in this game, where you're given just like a big open area and you're left to explore.
Yeah, the amount of skate parks in this are very small.
Well, that was done for a reason, but I made a lot of them. It's just as the design changed, less and less of them worked, I guess.
Yeah. Which, I think I like skate parks. I'm just trying to think of, do I prefer the open areas or skate parks? I think I might be on Team Skate Park. I don't know. I like open areas. I think it's definitely cool for a different vibe, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I just feel like skate parks, they do a lot more in a lot little space, which I just appreciate.
No, for sure. I think after Doom Eternal, they were just kind of tired out on that idea.
I imagine there's also the company perception of they don't
we can't
want
do the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know. But
I can imagine.
Yeah. Anyway, for sure they wanted to do something different.
Sorry, Komodos take all my concentration. You worked on Komodos, right?
I did not work on the Komodo. Let me see, Ava at id worked on the Komodos. Ava worked on the Agadon Hunter, the Komodo, and the Serfs that the Tyrant. I mean that the Atlan fights. You know, the big AI.
Ah, okay.
I worked on Cthulhu. I worked on the Tyrant, Cacodemon, Lost Soul, Nightmare Imp. I did some work on the Hell Knight, on the Mancubus, Revenant. The list goes on. Like I said at one point, design is kind of like multiple painters and one painting. So you pass it to someone, they get a bunch of tasks done, they put on a layer of paint, and then it gets passed to someone else as priorities change.
Mm-hmm. I remember you were talking a bit about how some of the encounters in AI that you programmed were just tweaked from where you left it for where it was in the final product.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did a lot of work, for example, on like I wrote the spec for a lot of the stuff that leaders and enforcers do. In fact, I wrote the original enforcer spec, and I set up everything around enforcers. In fact, I'm pretty sure that particle effect that is around enforcer buffed AI is the same temp particle effect that I initially put in.
Oh.
I don't think the effect team ever went back and made a professional one for that, or they could have just said this is good, you don't need it.
You just designed the perfect one on the first try. What can you say?
I mean, that or it didn't get noticed. You know, there's so many things that go into these games. I can see how it's easy for something like that to fall by the wayside. Lots of anyway, lots of different stuff. Especially getting to switch to a different team halfway through was really great for learning more about AI systems and stuff like that, which I am now using for my own personal games. Oh, you're using the BFC.
Yeah, just sorry. Fuck this Komodo specifically. I just had to triple BFC it, you know?
I forget. I'm so sorry. I completely forget that you have to fight all the way through this shit to access the boss.
Yeah, no, I can't, like, just load checkpoints or do speedrun skips because actually, even in any percent, like, you can't skip these encounters in this level. Like, you just can't.
That's like such an inherent, like, kind of what's the word here? It hurts Creed, I think, just because you have to play through the whole map just to fight him.
It turns out that if we enter a console command using, if we unlock the console and then use a specific command, we can get like dev checkpoints in this game.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I have not looked into it, so we're just doing this the old-fashioned way.
No, for sure. I guess when you work on a game, that's like the first thing you can't play without is like checkpoints.
Yeah, because you're constantly testing things, having to reload and load again. So it's just you got to make the process as easy as possible, or that's just wasted man hours, you know.
It's difficult seeing this game and not wanting to load a checkpoint. Yeah, the Tyrant, dude. The Tyrant was like my other baby besides Creed.
Yeah, you're my freaking most hated enemy for making that spike attack.
Well, it was kind of meant to be like the Archvile, whereas it was kind of like a forcing function because it was made. The spikes were made to stop people from just hiding behind the massive amounts of cover we give you in these open areas. It's kind of to encourage you to run in and stand and fight rather than just cheese the AI.
Yeah, no, I get that intention. The aspect of it that always bothered me was that there's like no telegraph and you just kind of instantly get hit. Which on the Tyrant, okay, sorry.
It just could be a bit better.
Yeah, no, the Tyrant.
There's a telegraph.
There is a telegraph, yes. I wasn't speaking specifically about the Cyber Demon in this case. I was speaking about the Archvile. Sorry, my Archvile hatred took over for a second. I was fuming at the mouth.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember there being a telegraph.
Yeah, no, the Cyber Demon telegraph is. It's just because I play on 150% speed that it's almost no telegraph.
Yeah.
So that is.
We did not. I'll tell you this. I did not design with 150 speed in mind. I think it's extremely difficult to do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I imagine you can see like the game somewhat breaking down because of it at these things, which is kind of like cool that you push it that far, or I guess that the devs push it that far that allow us to
push it that far.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, I guess if some people want to just completely break their game, I think that's hilarious. They should be able to do it.
Yeah, like we have a small community that kind of came up after this game launched that's wanting to try to beat this game on Max Slider's Ultra Nightmare, and even though that it's not fair enough to do that, they're determined to do it anyway.
I want to say the sliders is probably the biggest improvement from Eternal to this game. The sliders, I think are so cool, and I think it fixes a lot of the problems that I have with Dark Ages in terms of like what I like to play, and I have the option to make it, you know, less forgiving, which is what I look for out of these types of games.
Yes.
I totally want to. What's the term here? I definitely want to see it in more titles going forward.
Sorry, what aspect specifically?
No, I want to see difficulty sliders in more of their games going forward.
Okay, I didn't know if that was just a specific thing you were talking about, or we were looping back.
No,
Gotcha.
I think the sliders. Yeah, I was figuring out what I wanted to say, but I think the sliders are great.
Yeah, sorry, I just got a little lost in the sauce. Something combat. It's weird because the game on the settings I like running it in, which is basically like max sliders without damage, because I don't know. I feel like if you get one shot in this mode, it's just too mean.
Is it? I heard someone ask. You never said if this was your max slider save.
This is my max slider save. This is my when I built a 100% save file, trying to go through all the encounters with a fine tooth for the 100% route.
Dude, I was watching you for like, I want to say nearly 2 hours straight on the BFC encounter, max sliders. I couldn't watch you play it anymore.
I did end up getting it, so I'm proud.
There gets to be a point where I'm just like, dude, I would use the fucking BFC here. I would use it. I would totally do it. And it's like, it's the intense urge to backseat drive kicks in, and I'm just like, I can't do this.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I get people who come into my challenge run streams all the frickin' time going, how do you stay so calm? I would have rage quit like 2 hours ago. And it's like, I don't know, man. I sort of signed up for this, so I expected to have my ass rocked for 2 hours. If that happens, it's like, it's something I'm fine with.
The content, though, for sure.
Yeah, like, the max sliders run ended up taking me 50 hours of in-game time. Like,
wow, that's crazy.
It unironically is the most difficult challenge run I've done, period. Like, which is kind of weird, going back onto your max sliders being good point, of you can get the hardest challenge run, a challenge runner, you know, how do I say this in a way that doesn't make me sound egotistical? I think I just have to say it and hope people don't take it that way. A professional challenge runner gets their, like, biggest challenge out of an in-game difficulty option setting over stuff that they had to purposely mod in. I think that's
what they were there for. You know, they were trying to scratch that intense itch that like people came to expect from Eternal. It's something that happened a lot towards the end of Eternal's development, you know, with like the Terrace and the Bad Master level, and even the Super Gorness Master level. Those levels were kind of an in-between from the base game and Kaiser campaign, but they could never scratch the itch that people needed, like to play master level, custom modded master levels. You can never scratch that itch with official content, because then you're just completely like kicking out anyone who plays on a console, for example.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to make content and be like, okay, 50 to even more % of our players can't smell this level without puking, because it's so difficult.
Ah, gosh darn acolytes. Why?
That's what the sliders are for. That's another one of Ava's, the acolyte. I think it's cool though. I think the acolyte's cool. The acolyte's kind of like an archvile.
Yeah, a little bit overtuned on these settings, but I kind of did that to myself.
Yeah, that's funny. That's really funny, because the acolyte uses the same systems for hazards that the tyrant does.
Really? For the spikes and the spells, I assume, are like approximately like the same system?
It's the same system, but like an inversion. Whereas the acolyte's meteors fall from the sky, the tyrant spikes come out of the floor, but technically they're still acolyte projectiles. The acolyte came first, I think. But it was what's even funnier though? The tyrant spikes are just an inversion of his meteor attack from Eternal.
Yes, I remember. I think you said that in my chat once.
It's the exact same attack. It's just changed up a bit, basically.
Alrighty, now that I'm done being bad, we can get to the whole.
Ship is powering up.
We're working up to the.
What's funny is I worked a lot on the dragon stuff too.
Yeah. What aspect of the dragon stuff again?
It was more related to enemy design. And
oh yeah, I remember the Kako ships.
Yes, I wrote the spec for the ships. I wrote the spec for the giant Kakos. I wrote the spec for these guys that you're fighting right now, and I worked on other AI for a long time. Although I will say that AI, the one that you just fought, I'll say that I'm not a huge fan of how it turned out. I'll be real.
Was that something you worked on, or just?
I didn't work on the version that you're fighting.
Oh.
I'll say that much.
Cryptic. Okay, but yeah, no, it's always weird to me, I guess, with the lock-on system with the dragon. Like, I always imagined, like, Spyro and free flying. It's just like locked in's just like, it's like I'm not able to do all that free flying and like movements whatnot when the system is just kind of incentivizing just staying locked on.
Yeah, the lock-on is it's certainly a feature.
Yeah, it works. That's yeah.
Lock-on, yeah, the lock-on certainly does indeed work for its intended function. Absolutely. It is a lock-on.
Oh yeah, Salim brings up a good point that the Tyrant spikes can actually be used for movement tech. It was actually in the 80% run, using a spike boost off a Tyrant to go fast and basically hit a death plane further in the level to like skip a big section.
That's definitely my fault, but it's like you would have found something else if not the spikes.
Oh yeah, it got routed out as soon as mantle warping was discovered, but it was there for a solid 2 days.
No. Maybe in the no major glitches run or something like that. I don't know.
It maybe. Shield charge boosting kind of took over most of the aspects.
Oh, that's right. That's so right. Oh my God, yeah, you're right. That's so cool. That's so cool. I wish that was a thing that you could just do without fucking with it, like breaking your shield charge midair.
Yeah. It's very precise with how you have to do it. Like it's you have to basically charge at a very specific part of the animation. It takes a while to get used to, and I just.
Dude, had that been found while the game was in development, oh man, that would have been nuked so fast.
You want to know the funny thing? I think it was found in development.
Not what you did. Not what I saw the speedrunners do.
Really, it wasn't. The shield charge boost? Huh.
No.
Okay.
Not skipping the entirety of Sentinel Barracks. No way would they have found out you could do that.
Yeah, there's also in the any % restricted run, they do a shield charge boost to skip the complete first part of Village of Kalim to get straight to the portals.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. No, if anyone found that during development, they would have fixed it immediately. There's no way. At least not the map. At least not the map glitches. Maybe being able to break shield charge somehow was known, but definitely not being utilized in the way that you did. Releasing a game is like instantly gaining 1 million QA employees, basically.
Yeah. When I was talking with some devs at the previous QuakeCon, they alluded to sometimes when they shield charge something, they get a lot of speed, and they don't know what's causing it or how it happens or whatever, so they think they were just going to leave it in. It's just as like a little like homage to Speedrunner. So I kind of think that's what they were alluding to with shield charge boosting, or at least the mechanics behind it.
I find that awesome.
Yeah.
If they did.
Shoutouts to id devs. Okay, let's get into Korean Maker. I'm tired of pussyfooting.
Princess Vic,
I haven't seen this cutscene in a while, actually.
I could still
Just
be of
foreshadowing.
service.
Big Chungus. I love his character design so much.
Oh, as soon as I saw the first trailer with him in it, I instantly loved him.
It's such a great piece of concept art.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know how he fits into the story, really. Like, why is the Maker here? But
He just, listen, he's a big fat guy, and he has a bunch of leeches inside of him, and that's all that you need to know.
yeah, that's the only stuff I care about, but, like, at the same time, it's just, like, I have a little scratch in my mind, just wondering how exactly it fits in.
That is exactly how it fits in. It's Doom, the rule of cool. It was just a cool piece of concept art that we wanted to put in the game. And then Hugo got high and wrote something into the script for it.
I can't get that image out of my head now.
It's such a great design. I love the character design for Dark Ages. Concept art and the entire art team in general was just on point for the entirety of this project. Such great art direction.
Oh
Emerson, Emerson and fuck, I forget the name. Jason Martin did such a great job. Jason was in charge of everything 3D, so like modeling and character models and stuff like that. And Emerson was in charge of like the drawing aspect of it. Yeah, you've definitely seen a bunch of Emerson Tongue's art. He released like a book called Tankhead. You should seriously check out Tankhead. It's a really great like art book that Emerson drew. If you like the art of Doom Eternal and Dark Ages, you'll like Tankhead. So you asked some questions of like, is Creed's decision making random? No, so it's a state machine, which is a list of like predefined states, and there's some level of randomness that he can eventually like slide into, like due to how timers line up and stuff. And a lot of that is just the magic behind making a boss is getting all that just right.
Yeah, because it feels random, but there's like, I guess the quintessential example of something like that is the Marauder, where stands not too far but not too close.
For example, he has a predisposition to want to dodge after certain attacks. Like him summoning the hazard orb, he will almost always dodge after doing that. You see, he dodged after doing that, and I'm pretty sure he dodged after summoning his drones too. So he has a predisposition of like wanting to do certain actions after certain attacks, but it's like making it feel good is the hard part, because otherwise it just gets very robotic.
I mean, okay, I guess when you're working on moves and stuff for bosses like Creed, like, I guess, like, how do you decide what to make a move? Is it just, do you just have to get creativity? Is it just like raw that, or is there a process?
No, for a boss, it's like, whereas with a normal AI, you have to design it in the context of the greater roster. With a boss, you get so much more control, so you really get to go wild in terms of ideas. The only limit is what can get approved and what makes sense and what we have the money for. Other than that, it's kind of like a go wild kind of moment in terms of design. So my design process for Creedmaker, I can't speak to like Azric or the Witch because I'm not the one who worked on them, but and like I did core implementation work for Cthulhu, but I didn't write the spec for him. If that makes any sense, I didn't design his attacks. I was just in charge of implementing them. So everything in game you do with Cthulhu, like I put that in the game, but I didn't think of like the way he swings his mace or whatever. Does that make any sense?
So like, in other words, you were determining like hitboxes and how it would be in gameplay, but art and assets and what the exact animation would be for the attack is still up in the air.
My biggest implementation on Cthulhu specifically was like his core behavior. So how all of his attacks are chosen, the setup for the attacks, the ways he can combo them together, what makes him like an AI, basically. That's what being an AI designer usually is. But for Creed, I wrote the spec. So I designed for him a roster of attacks that by themselves ask for one action from the player. Like a sentence. The meteors require paying attention to your surroundings and correct positioning. The parry requires what's the word here? It's like a QTE.
Yeah, you need to time it appropriately from the flash, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And the bullet hell attacks require like strafing and dodging and weaving. I mentioned his like big barrage of projectiles encourages circle strafing specifically to dodge them, whereas the seeking orbs he fires will catch you if you try to circle strafe. So you have to kind of like dodge and weave a different way. So basically, different problems to solve, and the core of Phase 1 is teaching you how to solve each of these problems. And then Phase 2 is about combining them in unique ways to ask for more complex.
Yeah, because in the second phase, it's like the first phase attacks, but they all overlap to some extent. They're all play off each other.
And I spoke in the very beginning about Creed. He's a combination of id's main AI driving system and logic. So what's great about Creed is because he can just throw out so much shit, and then the logic is doing the thinking in the background while he's thinking about what his next attack is going to be. If that makes any sense. And that's what allows him to combine all these things so easily, whereas otherwise it would be extremely hard with AI systems, for example, that powered the Dark Lord, would just not work for Creed. He's a lot. He's much more complicated than the Dark Lord,
Wait.
which just uses a state machine.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that him deciding his attacks and what attacks currently playing out are just, like, done separately?
Yes, they're disconnected in terms of, like, one can continue firing off separately from Creed after he spawns it, basically.
Meanwhile,
thanks to his logic script, yeah.
So is that kind of like Creed's only basically determining, like, what his next attack or next action is, while the other attacks just going?
That is great. So all his FSM determines which option he's going to pick next. Correct. Whereas he then once he knows what action he's going to pick, like the brain, he communicates to logic, and then logic does the rest, like the spawning and whatnot. I love designing complex AI like him. He was such a great learning experience. And that's why I mentioned before, I hope they utilize logic more in the future with bosses, because it really opened the door for so much cool shit.
Yeah, because I mean, because you said uniquely, it's just like Creed and Azrak and Witch that are designed that way.
Creed is like, I want to say Creed is 50% logic, if not more. Whereas Azrak and Witch, I think, have some logic tacked on to their attacks. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Azrak bullet hell, and then Azrak he spawns those, like, ghosts that fly at you. Those are logic driven as well, I believe. So yes, similar stuff for sure. But they just they're more standard fights, but do a great job at doing it. Like they're not, like, dependent on logic for every single one of their attacks.
Yeah. Was the state machine, like, process, was that used only for bosses, like, somewhat, or were they also used in core enemies?
No, logic, for example, is how those ships work.
Oh.
Those ships you fought on the dragon. And like I said, anything that's not a standard id AI with major goring and a bunch of different abilities and complex animations and pain reactions, flinches, whatnot. If it doesn't have all of those things, it's more than likely driven by logic.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like the tanks, for example, you know what I mean? The tanks are like,
they're like the simplest form of logic, kind of, because they only have the one attack.
Exactly. The tanks are, like, I want to say 70% logic in terms of their behavior.
What's the other 30%?
AI systems. They can technically falter. They technically have death animations.
Oh, is that because, like, they're in, like, the enemy, like, class or something? So, like, they kind of have a core set of features that are just inherent to them being that type of entity?
Exactly, yes, and they use them. Whereas the ship is completely logic driven. The ship that you fight on the dragon, it doesn't breathe, it doesn't have a pain animation. It's not a real AI, it's a collection of scripts that speak to each other.
Oh, okay, actually a quick question, I think it was from a bit ago, but I think it'd be cool to ask. Like, out of 2016 Eternal Dark Ages, which one would you say you enjoy playing the most?
Oh, guaranteed Eternal. Guaranteed Eternal. Yeah. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love Dark Ages. It's a great game. Once you know how the sausage is made, it just loses. That's all I'm saying. It loses. It becomes, at some level, it does become a bit of a job, Whereas Eternal, I experienced right out the gate as a gamer, not as a game developer. And I got to enjoy a finished product that I didn't have to, like, pull my hair out working on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, when Eternal came out, speedrunning FPS games just wasn't even on my mind. I only dipped my toe in. I only, like, dipped my toe into speedrunning some platforming games. I used to run, like, A Hat in Time and Super Mario Odyssey. But I had no expectation of speedrunning Eternal, but I got the casual experience, was blown away, and was like, okay, I have to at least try. And that type of magic is super cool, but when Dark Ages releases, and I'm a content creator who's expected to kind of play it and challenge it, it's like, yeah, I still kind of like it and appreciate it to some aspect, but it's just a completely different vibe than what Eternal gave me, And
on some level, it's very commendable, because I don't think anybody has talked about Dark Ages and said, I just like that id Software wanted to shake it up and try something different. It's never that.
Yeah.
It's just the way that the final product turned out. I don't think anybody hates the idea of change, but they may hate where that change ends up, if that makes any sense.
I think a lot of it is just people have an expectation of their previous games of what they're going to do, and when like the worldview doesn't like completely align with that, that's when just people get, you know.
I think for what Dark Ages sets out to be, it's great, and the team was all extremely passionate working on it. Me included. You know, I eat shit and breathe Doom for every day for like 5 years, even before I got the job. You know what I'm saying? So because of the mod stuff. So I technically I worked on Eternal. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say that I was a developer, but I've worked with Eternal systems for a long amount of time.
Oh yeah.
And I just think there's that really lightning in a bottle aspect to it that I think is just difficult for anyone to capture, let alone like the same studio twice in a row.
Oh, we got somebody in chat saying that old one is their favorite boss. Good job, Kaiser.
That's awesome. I'm glad you like it. The old one, his spec was written by the same guy who designed the mech. Believe it or not, the way the mech fights.
Like so just the core combat.
How the mech actually works, like punching and dodging and whatnot. He designed everything about the mech, and then he designed the mech boss too. So he wrote the spec for Cthulhu, and then I worked on his implementation in game. It was super fun designing like his combo system, how he can like chain multiple attacks together. He has some logic aspects to him too. In fact, I think a lot of enemies do in Dark Ages. But he is a great example of what id does great with their AI. Their AI systems are purpose built for the type of AI in Doom games, and Cthulhu just the way he can combo shit together in a way that a state machine for id tech easily can, that something like Unreal or Unity can't do super well. Sorry, if you get me talking about AI...
No, I love it, dude. I was about to say, I was going to make the very surface level observation that he's a Dark Souls boss, and I think if you literally put him in a Dark Souls game, he'd do remarkably well. Like,
absolutely, yeah, what do you think? Well, he's an Elden Ring boss.
Is he?
Because like, I'm telling you, that's what we were all playing, dude.
You were all playing Elden Ring, got inspired by... Yeah, no, I get it.
No shit. Yeah, everyone was playing Elden Ring.
So yeah, when they say the bosses are basically Sekiro bosses, no, that's like unironically.
No, it is. Yeah, absolutely. But they are absolutely FromSoft, dude. Hugo had this saying, "Good artists are inspired, great artists steal."
Yeah. That's been a phrase for eons because it works. It's like on YouTube we have a very similar thing of if you want to do something well, you take something that works that you see, you yoink it, and then you put your own twist on it. So
yeah, and I say that, but I don't mean it like in a bad way.
Yeah,
no.
I
love Dark Souls bosses.
Yeah, no, it's nothing bad to like take something from what you like and put it in, you know, provided that you aren't doing strict copy and plagiarism.
No, of course, yeah, but I think Dark Ages is such a cool mix of the bullet hell shit and the Dark Souls shit, like the Elden Ring stuff. You know what I mean?
Unironic, yeah. The boss fights in this game, in my opinion, are the best in the series. So
I'm tempted to agree. By far, I think Dark Ages bosses, the entire AI and gameplay team. I think I'm not just saying this because I worked on it, even though that would be really funny. I think they all really knocked it out of the park. For Dark Ages, it was clear that they wanted to make up, for the lackluster reception of DLC 2, I think.
So it was like everyone didn't like the Dark Lord boss fights. They're like, okay, now we have to make sure this next game has really good boss fights.
Something like that, probably.
Maybe. I could have
something like that.
It's
really hard. It's really hard shitting on other people's work when you're in a professional environment. So I wouldn't just.
Well, no. It's I don't mean it in like a shit on work way. It's more like a public perception sort of thing.
Well, we just want to outdo ourselves.
Yeah.
I think most developers, like, if they can outdo themselves, they'll want to.
Yes, exactly. Well, sorry,
especially the ones that id at least, man.
Yeah,
like, they're all. Yeah, that's what I love about the studio is they're all about like. And it's commendable, always wanting to one-up yourself and do something greater than you did before instead of just getting comfortable with mediocrity.
Yeah, exactly. And everything, like, even if there is hiccup in the path, it's like I think it's clear that they learned their lessons from the previous games and then iterated on it to a good extent.
There are some overcorrections, but like I
Ah,
think I think that's just that. I think that's just gonna happen. There's no way to please anyone or to make, especially when you're working under
Yeah.
Microsoft. You know, there's no way to make like an absolute perfect piece of art that everyone will love 100%.
Yeah, like an overcorrection, I think. Well, if we flip the switch to subjectivity for a second, I think this game is just too slow on default settings. Where it's just like they were like, okay, we don't want it fast-paced like Eternal. We're gonna move it all the way down. It's like I think the ideal like regular game speed would be like around 130 would fit my vibe.
I think there is no way to please you on
Yes.
default settings that would work for console players.
Yeah. No, that's the other thing with console. Everything has to be accounted for consoles. So us keyboard split wards are kind of just left behind a little bit.
Well, you're not left behind. That's the whole. Like I
Oh
talked
yeah,
about this
the sliders is the
reason,
not left behind.
You're the reason
right.
they exist. Yeah.
I'm the reason.
Specifically you are the reason
me.
they exist. Yeah, it's specifically you.
Wait, is that a joke or are you being serious right now?
No, I'm fucking with you.
Okay, thank you.
No, but he's like, we're thinking of like speedrunners, not like you're definitely included, but it's like we're thinking of people who like black belts, you know?
Yeah, people who want to take it to the next level. Like, for example, I can't play this without flipping most of the difficulty sliders up a bit.
Yeah, I got told like, Hugo was talking about me and one of the other designers nearly every meeting, like those guys who like play like they're on crack. I'm thinking to myself, I'm not even that good. I don't know what he's talking about, but I'll take the compliment.
You're just are you included in the good players club at id? Is that what I'm hearing?
I was, I guess, because of the mod thing, because it's like it's a mod for crackheads like myself, you know.
Yeah, I guess you and Cronid just sitting there.
Oh yeah, is that? Oh, I didn't say the developer, but yes, Cronin, yes, him, yes, because he's absolutely fucking cracked. At games.
He's the Omega Sweatlord, and I know that because when I was doing Max Sliders, he came in and said, "Yeah, no, I did this mode too, and I did most levels deathlessly," and it's just like, yeah, no, that tracks.
That's Nick's job, is to prove that you can beat the game on Deathless. They wouldn't have released the game unless Nick could have beaten it Max Sliders on Deathless, I think.
Yeah, I think
maybe
he was also
maybe.
He was also the first person to confirm to me that I guess he was the first person to do it, which means like
absolutely Nick would have been the first to do it.
I meant
him or QA maybe.
Oh, I meant sorry. I'm getting lost in my thoughts here. What I mean to say is that we didn't know if 100%ing Ultra Nightmare in this game was even possible for the first few days. But
it would have had to have been.
But on the second day, Cronid came into my stream and said, "Yeah, no, 100% Ultra Nightmare is doable. I did it myself." I was just like,
"That's what I'm saying. It's like that. That's part of Nick's job. He's a combat designer. If he can't beat the game, no one can. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah, it was just like I know on 2016 when I asked Hugo about if they knew 100% was close on Ultra Nightmare, it seems much more up in the air if they knew it at the time. Then again, this is him recollecting like literally 4 or 5 years after development.
No, you're absolutely right. The direction in terms of like how what's the term here? Accessible the game has to be definitely changed.
Mm.
You can tell that if you play the game with a controller. Like you can just the amount of time spent into making sure that the control scheme worked for specifically the Xbox controller, man.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, you can tell if you play the game with an Xbox controller. The entire game plays like it was made for it. That's because it was.
Exactly. That's I think the dragon sections stand out to me specifically. It's just like when I first saw the trailer, it's like, yeah, this looks so controller coded.
Yeah. But hey, you know, Doom is for more than PC, Chad.
Yeah, you gotta let the console kids have fun because that's where most of the money in gaming lies. I understand.
Well, who do you think owns it?
Yeah, Microsoft, so...
Well, the Xbox division.
Yeah.
Xbox Gaming.
Yeah.
One leg of the multi-armed octopus.
Of ZeniMax.
So it's like...
Yes.
ZeniMax is like a smaller octopus, but yeah.
Oh. Oh yeah, because
ZeniMax
Xbox is owned by. I forgot about. Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, Kaiser, thanks so much for joining me today. It's been a fun time. Was great chatting with you, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to tell the people before I let you go?
No, I think I've been talking for long enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here. Freaking 2.5 hours flew by. Honestly, I feel like I learned a lot about the game.
No, for sure. We didn't get to talk much at QuakeCon, so this was great.
Yeah, no, it was unfortunate because I was busy with my showcase at the time, and I was, dude, I was so fucking stressed about that. I was running on fumes.
Let's get together this QuakeCon and have a drink, and I'll shill you my game some more.
Yeah, no, totally. That sounds good. We're also gonna have a bunch of other Doom speedrun dudes too. We should all meet up sometime and get together.
Awesome. That sounds great. All right. Well, thanks for the chat, man. Thanks for the stream. Sorry you didn't get like 100,000 viewers. I was really hoping you.
No, it's cool, dude. Hey, all that matters here is that we had a good conversation, and everything else, secondary.
All right. Well, have a good night, man. Thanks.
Yeah, you have a good one too.
We'll see you.
So yeah, that's Kaiser, people. Yeah. Thanks, dude. That was fun. If they're still watching the stream. YouTube audience, thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. I'm gonna end it there. I'll be back tomorrow where I'm actually doing challenge runs. I know. Weird. What I'm known for. Alright, oh fuck. I swapped to the wrong thing. Hold on, give me a second. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, by the way, hold on. Nev, hi! That's a name I haven't seen in a bit. Hello, if you're still here. Nice to see you. Oh. Did not do that. Sorry, people, I wasn't paying attention too much to chat just because I was paying attention to everything. Who are we raiding? Alu, but I just raided Alu. You know what? I'll raid Kovac. They're doing some Doom Eternal. That's just close enough.